with easy access to 1 million+ products and the scale to deliver when and where you need them. The right tools and supplies are never far away, so the one can keep that vintage building running like new. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Hey, Ma, I've been meaning to talk to you about some new COVID information I saw online.
Uh-huh.
I read that black folks like us with certain conditions like diabetes, heart disease, mental health conditions, or being 50 and older, like you, are at high risk.
Boy, you sound like a commercial.
I'm just saying. I know you love your ginger teas and essential oils, but remember, there are treatment options for COVID-19.
I promise if I get sick again, I'll call my doctor to ask about my options.
Visit WeTalkWeRise.com to learn more. Brought to you by Pfizer.
My brother-in-law died suddenly, and now my sister and her kids have to sell their home. That's why I told my husband we could not put off getting life insurance any longer. An agent offered us a 10-year, $500,000 policy for nearly $50 a month. Then we called SelectQuote. SelectQuote found us identical coverage for only $19 a month, a savings of $369 a year.
Whether you need a $500,000 policy or a $5 million policy, SelectQuote could save you more than 50% on term life insurance.
For your free quote,
radio program.
Yeah. 97.3 ESPN presents The Sports Bash with Mike Gill.
When I'm driving, I got a guy on the radio who talks to me. I can't see him, but he talks to me.
Now, live from inside the Ocean Casino Resort Studio, here's Mike Gill.
Josh Hennig filling in for Mike Gill here on a Tuesday edition of the Sports Bash, 97.3 ESPN FM, the 97.3 ESPN mobile app, and of course, Mike Gill is on his way to Super Bowl 59 in New Orleans, Media Row. He'll be broadcasting Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. But I got you covered for the next 4 hours here on 97.3 ESPN. I will totally admit the guest lineup is fluid right now because of the Sixers news that broke. We will be getting into Caleb Martin for Quentin Grimes. Is this just a move or a sign of moves to come? Plus, some people had some interesting things to say at last night's opening night. Plus, I have a conspiracy theory for all of you Eagle fans out there you might want to chew on. What I can tell you about, coming up on the show, Rob Maaddi from the Associated Press will join us coming up at 3:20 today. Geoff Mosher, him and Adam Kaplan flip-flop. Adam was on yesterday's show. Geoff is on today's show. Scott Graham from Westwood won on the Eagles television pregame broadcast. He will join us coming up at 4:30. We are tentatively scheduled to be joined by Nick Earnshaw and Mike Gill coming up at 5:30 Eastern. It'll be 4:30 Central where they are at. That is currently the plan as of right now. And as always, you guys can join the conversation. You guys can tell me, Daryl Morey made a move. How do you feel about the move? 609-403-0973. Your DMs into the 97.3 ESPN mobile app powered by First Bank of Sea Isle City. I'll get to the Eagles stuff in just a bit because we got a ton of Eagles conversation to get into throughout the day. But I got to tell you guys, this Sixers move feels like a bit of a slap in the face to all of you Sixer fans. And here's why. This organization, the 76ers, continues to take this fan base for granted. Unlike the Flyers, who their general manager, their organization is out front of everything going on. Unlike the Eagles, where the general manager and the head coach, they're always out in front of things, even if we don't like what they have to say. Even if Nick Sirianni has that word salad for you guys. You may not like Dave Dombrowski and Rob Thompson, but they're always available to speak. You know who is not available to speak? Daryl Morey, Elton Brand. And so what this organization did today is basically tell you, the 76er fan, that they don't give a bleep about you. I'm just keeping it real with you guys. Trading Caleb Martin for Quentin Grimes and a draft pick feels like the dumbest move I can think of possible. Is it a bad move? No, it's not. But it's a lateral move. It's a move that basically says the 76ers are more interested in freeing up salary cap space for the future than they are about doing anything of consequence this year. Listen, when Caleb Martin first came to the Sixers, I was excited. I was like, finally, we got a guy who does all of the small things that Tobias Harris was, well, incapable of doing. You brought in Caleb Martin on a 4-year, $35 million contract. Now you are basically making the Dallas Mavericks responsible for, at minimum, $20 million of that contract. The 4th year is a player option. But while the Eagles sit there and they keep trying to win, while the Flyers are telling you overtly, hey, we're trying to build for the future, while the Phillies are at least saying, hey, we're a very good baseball team and we're trying to do what's necessary to win moving forward. The 76ers are basically making moves that help their bottom line. And for a fan base like Philadelphia, that is unacceptable. Now, look, Quentin Grimes is a nice player. He's shooting about 39% from three-point range. He's a solid 3-and-D guy. He's 6'5". He is somebody who gives you a little extra athleticism and length. But he's nothing special. Nobody gets excited about Quentin Grimes coming to their team. And if you're wondering, how does his contract compare to Caleb Martin? He's going to be a free agent after this year. It's a savings of about $4 million. The Mavericks, because of the Luka trade, were able to absorb the Caleb Martin money. And Caleb Martin makes a lot of sense for Dallas, because Dallas needs more athletes around Kyrie. Grimes is more of a 3-and-D type of guy, but he's going to be a free agent. He was an expendable contract. I'm sure somebody in the Sixers organization is proud of themselves that they found a way to get back that second-round pick that they gave up previously. Good for you. But unlike the Eagles, who are in New Orleans for Super Bowl 59, which you can hear all of Eagles versus Chiefs this Sunday here on 97.3 ESPN, and as well on the 97.3 ESPN mobile app powered by First Bank of Sea Isle City. The Sixers are never going to be in contention for a championship by trading Caleb Martin for Quentin Grimes. Now, I'm not even sure if trading Paul George or anybody else is the answer as well. But you know what you're not getting from the Philadelphia 76ers? You're not getting Saquon Barkley saying this at last night's Super Bowl 59 opening ceremony.
I do know that God put me in an unbelievable position to have a platform, and I just try to go out there and play hard, put a smile on my face, and make people proud, and that's what it's all about. And I'm super thankful for it, and just try to take advantage of this and everything that comes with it. Something that I dreamed about since I was a little kid, and to actually be here and let it come to finally come to light would be amazing. But the dream wasn't just getting there. The dream was to win the Super Bowl, and I think we're capable of doing that. We have unbelievable staff, coaches, guys on this team, and like I said, it's going to take everyone.
That's somebody who came here to win. That's someone who's invested in winning a championship, is Saquon Barkley. That is someone who wakes up in the morning and says, my team is invested and I am invested. You don't hear any of that from the 76ers. You hear confusion. You hear frustration. You hear just overall negative vibes constantly from the Sixers organization. How are we supposed to invest ourselves in a team that is making moves for the bottom line instead of how to win a championship on the court? You guys tell me how you feel at 609-403-0973. Your DMs into the 973 ESPN mobile app powered by First Bank of Sea Isle. Austin Krell will join us coming up at 3 o'clock. We'll get deeper into the Martin Grimes trade. Of course, Austin Krell, former Sixers reporter for 97.3 ESPN.com, now works for On Patents, and we'll get his insights into but I'm not going to waste your time and everyone's time here and talk about something more exciting. There is a level of investment from these Eagles that is absolutely impressive. I cannot get over the fact that there is I know this sounds cliche, but an all for one, one for all kind of mentality with this team. And I thought A.J. Brown and C.J. Gardner-Johnson were the two guys last night who embodied that message the most. Here was A.J. Brown last night on how the team and guys like him are bought into Saquon in the running game.
We have a superstar running back who's incredible, and we're trying to do everything and anything possible to make sure he's doing what he's supposed to do. He's been doing a great job, and the team just bought in. The team just bought in, win after win, and here we are. We're just trying to finish.
We're just trying to finish. We're bought in. That's the mentality I like to hear. That's the mentality that is going to make a difference for this organization. You don't get to 2 championships in 3 years. You don't get to the biggest game twice in 3 years if there is not buy-in. I've started reading this Inner Excellence book by Jim Murphy that A.J. Brown has been reading and that got circulated a lot. And one of the parts of the book it talks about is you have to let go of your ego and that you cannot be successful in life if you're only in it for yourself and for your own accolades and success. That sounds like what is influencing A.J. Brown, but he's not the only one. C.J. Gardner-Johnson talking about being back in the Super Bowl with the Philadelphia Eagles for his second time as well.
Be where your feet are. Know when to turn it off. Understand, every moment's not for you, and this moment right here is for my team. I want to be able to enjoy this moment and do what I can and help the young guys we got, because we got young teams. So I want to be able to express this and enjoy this with them as much as I can.
That is maturity right there. These are players who are bought in to winning. These players are bought in to doing what is best for the organization to win a championship. A.J. Brown, he wants what's best for the team. C.J. wants what is best for the team. And while Saquon is become the face of the team's success this year, it is everyone collectively being bought into it. And I think it's fascinating that the Eagles have been so successful. They have been so elite. They have been so just impressive to listen to and watch. Meanwhile, on the other side of the tracks, you have the 76ers, who just can't get seen out of their way. Paul from Hobeth chimes in at 609-403-0973. I'll stick your DMs into the 973 ESPN mobile app powered by First Bank of Seattle. Josh Hennig filling in for Mike Gill as he travels to New Orleans to be a part of Super Bowl 59 Radio Row. He'll be broadcasting there with Nick Earnshaw. Pete G will be down there with him, as well as Geoff Mosher will be with them, who will be joining me coming up in the 4 o'clock hour today. They'll all be down there at Radio Row for the Super Bowl. Hopefully, we will hear from Nick Earnshaw coming up, along with Mike Gill, later today at 5:30. But Paul from Hobeth has a very interesting point I want to get to before we hit the break. Paul says to say this trade is unacceptable to the fan base is not true. Nothing is acceptable to Sixers fans. They accepted building a losing culture we have today because of the failed process. You have to scrap this roster and the loser mindset and begin to bring in pieces who are winners. These fans who accepted purposely losing, and now nothing is acceptable to them. So, Paul, it's a very interesting perspective. Because number one, I don't know if it's a losing culture, because I don't think that the process is the reason why you are where you are today. Now, listen, Mike Gill and I are on opposite sides of this. I was not an advocate of how the process was executed. I understand that organizations hit the reset button all the time. They go through tanks. They rebuild. Some of them work, like Oklahoma City. Some of them don't work, like Detroit. Some of them have proven to have positive results, like Minnesota and Houston. Others, nobody understands what's going on, like Sacramento. So I'm not going to act like the tanking and the rebuild and the process are all bad ideas. To me, what was wrong with the process was the execution, Paul and Rehoboth. And I want to hyper-legislate what happened. But I will say this. I agree with you that there may be a point where you have to reset the roster. Not because of the loser mindset, but because the people who are here, I just don't think are good enough or going to be good enough. I think for the 76ers, you have a team with a lot of talent. You have a lot of good players. But you're too old. And the reason why the Caleb Martin deal, to me, is not good is because instead of moving on from the older players, you moved on from a guy who's in the prime of his NBA career to save $4 million this year and to save, $16 million over the next 2 years? That, to me, is more of a quote-unquote loser mindset than what happened during the process. The process made two huge errors, Paul and Rehoboth. Number one, they never brought in legitimate veteran leadership. You look at teams like Oklahoma City, like Houston, like Minnesota, where they have had success, is they had veterans on those teams. Now, those veterans were not great players necessarily, but they were still guys who were brought in to help the young guys develop, evolve. The organization, until they drafted Ben Simmons, was chasing the point guard position for years to the point where they gave that stupid contract to Jared Bayless. The organization never let Sam Hinkie finish his process. They brought in the Colangelo, whatever you want to call them, mob, mafia, cabal. Brian Colangelo made things worse. He was easily manipulated by Boston to give up draft picks for a player that Boston never wanted. He gets fired. Then there's the entire organization is rudderless. Is it Brett Brown? Is it Elton Brand? Then they bring in Daryl Morey. And then they bring in Doc Rivers. And you think they have a direction. But the roster is still wrong. Daryl Morey has attempted to bring in better players. But to have a winning culture, you must have winning players. And that's where, Paul, I do agree with you. The roster is as much as the problem as anything with Philadelphia. All right. Still to come. We'll get to more of your text messages on the other side. We got Josh in the Parkway, your text and more coming up. Josh Hennig filling in for Mike Gill here on the Sports Bash, here on 97.3 ESPN. This hour of the Sports Bash being brought to you by Autumn Lake Healthcare Centers. Skilled nursing rehabilitation with elite level care in a warm and vibrant atmosphere. Visit autumnlakehealthcare.com to find a location near you. Also coming up this hour, I am going to tell you what you need to do for the big game. Because I don't know if you know, but the most popular Super Bowl party snack are wings. And I'm going to tell you where you need to get your wings for game day. That's still to come this hour. As I mentioned, Austin Krell will join us coming up at 3. We'll talk more about the Sixers. Rob Maaddi will talk more about the Super Bowl at 3:20. Geoff Mosher, Football at 4, powered by the Inside the Birds podcast. Scott Graham from Westwood 1 and the Eagles preseason broadcasts. All that and more. Me, Josh Hennig, filling in for Mike Gill, hanging out with you on a Tuesday on 97.3 ESPN.
You're listening to the Sports Bash with Mike Gill.
And if you're not down with that, we got 2 words for you.
On 97.3 ESPN and the 97.3 ESPN free mobile app.
Go to get your game on at the Gallery Bar Book and Games at Ocean Casino Resort. Cheers your favorite drinks while cheering on your favorite team. Get in on the parlay while in the middle of a party. Go for the sports scene and go for the endless screams. Go to the Gallery. Go to the Fanatics Sportsbook. Go for the win at Ocean Casino Resort. For more information, visit theoceanac.com. Must be 21 or older to wager or consume alcohol. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
ZipRecruiter is the place. ZipRecruiter is the place for talented teachers, savvy software developers, and master mixologists. ZipRecruiter is the place where you meet all these people and more. That's because ZipRecruiter is the place for job seekers who are looking for new opportunities. In fact, ZipRecruiter helps 10 million people with their job search every day, so you can find the right candidates right away. Try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
There she is, founder and CEO. High five. Yeah.
Dave can't stop celebrating with every business owner in town.
All right, Baker Man, high five.
He's sharing the excitement of big savings with the Comcast Business 5-year price lock guarantee.
Ooh, up top, bike shop.
Yeah. It's 5 years of gig speed internet.
Quick, high five.
5 years of advanced security.
5 years.
And 5 years of a great rate that won't change.
Yeah, law partners. Chamberlain, Messethorpe, Dubois.
All from the company with 99.9% network reliability. Switch today and get the 5-year price lock guarantee.
5 years.
It's back, but only for a limited time.
Woo!
Powering 5 years of savings, powering possibilities. Comcast Business.
Can't forget you, voiceover guy.
Ah, thanks, Dave.
High five.
Ends 3/9/25. Guaranteed rate applies to monthly service charge for new customers on qualifying internet bundle, excluding taxes and fees. Other restrictions apply.
This is a story of the one. As a maintenance specialist for university housing, he knows college students can major in wear and tear. Plus, housing so many students doesn't leave a lot of room to house all the supplies he needs. That's where Grainger comes in. With over 1 million industrial-grade products and fast, dependable delivery, Grainger carries the quality products he needs so he doesn't have to. From a new door hinge to a whole new faucet. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Breaking news, and this one is almost married at Bet365. 21 plus only. Must be physically located in New Jersey. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. T&Cs apply.
Drivers who switch and save with Progressive could save hundreds. With that kind of money, you could go big time and skip the regular line at the airport and pay for speedy security. Imagine not having to quickly unpack and pack at the place you already came packed to. And wearing your shoes the whole time you're there? You can't put a price on that kind of luxury. Well, actually you can, and you paid for it. Switch to Progressive and you could save big time for speedy security. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates, not available in all states. Potential savings will vary.
Blow the whistle. Hi, it's Pete from Chickie and Pete's. There's only one official sports bar of your Philadelphia Eagles, and that's Chickies and Pete's. Ready for the big game? Go where the players go. Don't wait. Reserve your table right now for the big game for all of our locations at chickiesandpete's.com. The best in-game experience anywhere. Be the MVP of your big game with Chickie and Pete's to-go catering. The Eagles are in the big game. Chickies and Pete's. Hi, it's Pete from Chicky and Pete's. Now, for a limited time, it's buy one, get one free snow crab legs every Tuesday and Wednesday. Buy one, get one free, and enjoy the sweet, delicate flavor of snowy white crab meat. Pair it with one of our handcrafted cocktails like the Stoli Vanilla Creamsicle or the Bourbon Peach Sweet Tea. Top it off with Chicky and Pete's world-famous crab fries. Buy one, get one free snow crab legs every Tuesday and Wednesday for a limited time. Restrictions apply only at Chickies and Pete's.
Are you ready, South Jersey? As the birds soar to the big game, Broadleys is here to keep your home comfort in the game. Don't let a broken heater or leaky pipe ruin your celebration. Call Broadleys Plumbing, Heating, and Air Conditioning for fast, reliable service you can trust. Just dial 609-390-3907 or visit Broadleys.net. Go Birds and go with Broadleys, your hometown plumbing and heating champs since 1911.
It's the Sports Bash with Mike Gill.
Keeping the fans entertained and happy.
On 97.3 ESPN and the 97.3 ESPN free mobile app.
2:29 here on the Sports Bash. Josh Hennig filling in for Mike Gill as he travels to New Orleans. Him, Nick Earnshaw, PG. Scott Grayson's already down there. Of course, Geoff Mosher will be sitting in with Mike Gill in the coming days. They will all get you ready for the big game. And, of course, what better way to have the big game than with the best wings in South Jersey? Yes, you got to make a trip to the Piccalilli for their award-winning wings, tails, and ears. Champions place their order for game day from the Piccalilli in Chemung, New Jersey. Visit Piccalilli.com and order now. I told you, wings are the most popular snack, food, dish in not just New Jersey, but America. I wrote the article about it last week at 973 ESPN.com. I didn't realize that wings were number one. Everything else is a far second and third. So if you're going to have wings for the big game, for the Eagles versus the Chiefs, you better get it from the Piccalilli. All right, back to the text board now. Josh from on the Parkway at 609-403-0973 says, I'm glad you're talking about this. It's blowing my mind how poised everyone is, how it seems like just another game for these dudes. That's from Josh on the Parkway. It's a great point because I do think that them being here once before is probably what is helping them be so poised. I'm not saying the guys weren't prepared for the game last time. They had multiple chances to win that game 2 years ago. But you do have to believe that there's a part of them that says, hey, we've been here and we've done this. And I made this analogy last week, and I'll bring it up again. And for those of you who, how do I put this? For those of you who are not very pop culture aware, I'm going to use an analogy that Mike Gill would never use. People keep talking about how the Kansas City Chiefs they're inevitable. That they're going to win no matter what. And I'm here to tell you that the last time I saw this much presumption, this much, hey, it's going to happen no matter what attitude, it was in movies. One of the highest grossing movies of all time was Avengers Endgame. The only reason why Titanic passed it is because they re-released Titanic back in theaters recently. Avengers Endgame made billions and billions of dollars. Why? Because in the movie previously, everyone saw the heroes lose. Thanos was supposed to be inevitable. He was supposed to be the unstoppable force. He was supposed to be unbeatable. They found a way to beat him in the end. And one of the biggest differences between the first showdown with the big villain Thanos and the second time was the Avengers had reinforcements. Well, think about what is difference this time from last time. You didn't have Saquon Barkley last time. Jonathan Gannon was your DC. Now it's Vic Fangio. The Chiefs' offensive line is not as strong as it was 2 years ago. You're not playing on that horrible field in Arizona. You're playing on a real NFL field in New Orleans. And frankly, if the only thing I have to worry about in New Orleans is the lights going out at halftime and there being an electrical issue in the building again, as there was a decade ago, I think the Eagles will be fine. As Josh of the Parkway said, they are poised. They are ready for this moment. Oh, and the other reason why the Avengers beat Thanos the second time round is the same reason why people like me are saying don't count out the Eagles. They know what it's like to lose to this team. And remember, Saquon Barkley said when he signed with Philadelphia, he had never been in a building that was that intent on never losing again the way they did in 2023. That was that intent on getting back to the biggest game in order to win a championship. The organization as a whole had a mission. And Saquon was drawn to be part of that mission. And I think that's a huge part of this conversation. I think that is why the poise, as Josh on the Parkway puts it, is a big deal in this conversation for the Philadelphia Eagles. Couple more messages get in here. 609-403-0973. Still to come, I do have that conspiracy theory for you guys. Okay? Big conspiracy theory. Maybe I'm going to overstep. Maybe you guys will call me a tinfoil hat guy. But I got one for you guys. Coming up a little bit later in the hour. Texter didn't leave their name, so we'll call them Mr. 856. Texting in says, unfortunately for the Sixers, when they were tanking, they really hit on only one draft pick. They missed all the others. Jahlil Okafor, Nerlens Noel, Ben Simmons have all gone or never made an impact on the Sixers, which is why it failed. I mean, that's certainly part of it. You know, as I said, the construction of the roster is definitely part of the conversation here. I understood why they drafted Noel and Okafor. Okafor and Noel were drafted as insurance policies if Embiid never panned out. Remember, there was a point where Embiid thought about never playing basketball ever again. It took him 2 years to get over all of his injuries. So, frankly, if I am the 76ers, I had a reason why I drafted Okafor and Noel, but I'm not going to sit here and act like either one of those guys were a horrible decision. I mean, I got to pull up those drafts again. I feel like you didn't have a lot of options in those drafts. Let me pull up the 2015 draft here. Yeah, so you drafted Okafor. Porzingis didn't want to come to Philadelphia. That was a big deal. Why they didn't draft him. I mean, I'm going through this list. The next good player on the list was Justice Winslow, and he was just an okay player, NBA. Miles Turner, 11th overall. Devin Booker was 13th. I don't think anyone was picking Devin Booker in the top 10 at that point. I mean, Terry Rozier was 16th. I mean, I'm not seeing a lot of better options than Okafor in that draft. I think part of the problem with the Sixers was, anonymous texter, is that if you don't have a better option, you got to pick who you think is the best player available, right? It's easy for us to sit here and say they should have done this, they should have done that. Now, the problem with the Noel pick was they drafted him for the same reason they drafted Embiid. They drafted a guy who was injured, and they said, hey, while this guy gets healthy, we'll have more top picks. The biggest problem with Nerlens Noel was maturity. It's been well reported that he had a lot of off-the-court issues. There was a lot of rumor and speculation about how he treated people outside the organization, how he treated people in the organization. There was friction with him and different people, and that was part of the reason why he didn't succeed. Apparently, he wasn't that committed to being the best version of himself. He was a guy who was supposed to be way better than he was. And to play the same Okafor game, I mean, who are we going to pick instead? Kentavious Caldwell-Pope? I mean, maybe if we had drafted CJ McCollum, it would have been different, but I don't think anyone thought McCollum was going to be what he is now. I think McCollum has outperformed what people thought he was going to be. You know, you drafted Michael Carter-Williams that year. You eventually traded him. He ended up basically being a journeyman. And obviously, still that draft with Giannis Antetokounmpo. I mean, nobody thought Giannis was going to be what he is. Except for, like, the diehards, right? The people who are, like, you know, it's hard to play hindsight being 20/20 anonymous texture. Maybe that's why you're anonymous on the text board. Maybe that's why you're messaging without a name. The Ben Simmons thing is interesting because Ben Simmons had maturity issues. He had work ethic issues. He had a lot of different variables, and he was getting a lot of bad advice, in my opinion. You know, if you read the interview from Brandon Scoopy Robinson when he had to sit down with Ben Simmons over the weekend, Simmons talked about how much he loved guys like Magic Johnson, Jason Kidd, how he wanted to be the greatest point guard of all time. And he says all this stuff in the interview. I'm thinking, if you just would have been this honest with the Philly fans about your thoughts and your beliefs and about your love for the game when you were here, people wouldn't have hated you as much. Now, obviously, the injuries have derailed him, like all Sixers draft picks. And maybe that is the bigger point to what Paul from Rehoboth said earlier, is that, hey, maybe the real problem for Philadelphia is that they just drafted a bunch of guys who couldn't stay healthy. Maybe they're just unlucky, unfortunate, whatever you want to call it. And maybe that's another extreme contrast between the Sixers and the Eagles, and that is the Eagles learned from their mistakes, and they got better and better. I mean, Howie Roseman's knocking out of the park with these draft picks lately. But before the last few years, there's been some serious misses. Jalen Reagor didn't work out at all. Derek Barnett never met expectations. Listen, Matt Pryor was a guy that I think a lot of people thought was going to be a part of this offensive line for years to come. He didn't work out. So, look, there are a lot of variables going into this, but I think, again, all the Sixers are proving right now with the Caleb Martin trade, with everything they've done the last few years, is that maybe the answer is they need to learn from the Philadelphia Eagles, who are playing in their third Super Bowl in the last 10 years, while the Sixers haven't won a championship since 1983. I'm Josh Hennig, filling in for Mike Gill here on the Sports Bash, 97.3 ESPN FM and 97.3 ESPN mobile app, powered by First Bank of Sea Isle City. We'll get more football talk still to come. Rob Mai from the Associated Press at 3:20. Geoff Mosher, football at 4. Scott Graham from Westwood One Sports at 4:30.
Super Bowl 59 is on Westwood One.
The Philadelphia Eagles are headed to New Orleans.
Now the Chiefs are on the doorstep of history, going for a third consecutive Super Bowl.
Hi, everybody. I'm Scott Grant. Join Kevin Harlan, Kurt Warner, Laura Oakman, Gene Steratore, Devin McCourty, and me for all the action right here.
Exclusively on 97.3 ESPN, South Jersey's home of Super Bowl 59.
There's a place where you can come as you are, see how it's made, and why we make it. You'll explore roads less traveled, steal a few moments, and slow down the clock. Then just kick back and stay a while. It's time to get away close to home in South Jersey. Head to visitsouthjersey.com to plan your trip today. We'll see you down the road.
Progressive knows finding your new home was a dream come true. You wanted a Colonial with high ceilings, hardwood floors, and a peaceful neighborhood. And you found it. Now, every Saturday at 6 a.m., you get to wake to the sound of your neighbor's leaf blower. Progressive can't save you from your noisy neighbors, but we can save you money when you bundle your home and auto with us. Get a quote at Progressive.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company affiliates and other insurers not available in all states.
Winter is here. Are you prepared? Don't get left in the dark. Kelvy Electric, a certified Generac dealer, has you covered. From installation to maintenance, they're your go-to experts for Generac generators, ensuring your home stays powered through any storm. A Generac home standby generator will automatically restore power to your home during an outage, so your life goes on uninterrupted. Put your trust in Kelvy Electric, the premier electrical contractor, serving South Jersey for over 110 years. Visit CalvyElectric.com today and stay ahead of any storm.
If you're living with dry age-related macular degeneration or dry AMD, you may be at risk for developing geographic atrophy or GA. GA can be unpredictable and progress rapidly, leading to irreversible vision loss. Now there's something you can do to
slow it down and get it going slower.
Izervay is proven to slow GA progression.
Izervay gets GA going slower.
Izervay or avacincaptad pagel is a prescription eye injection used to treat GA. Don't take it if you have an infection or active swelling in or around your eye. Izervay can cause eye infection, retinal detachment, or increased risk of wet AMD. Izervay may temporarily increase eye pressure. Your vision may be impaired after an eye injection or exam. Don't delay. Ask your doctor about Izervay today.
Izervay gets GA going slower.
Visit Izervay.com. That's IZERVAY.com.
Paid for by Estella's Pharma.
This is a story of the one. As a maintenance specialist for university housing, he knows college students can major in wear and tear. Plus, housing so many students doesn't leave a lot of room to house all the supplies he needs. That's where Grainger comes in. With over 1 million industrial-grade products and fast, dependable delivery, Grainger carries the quality products he needs so he doesn't have to. From a new door hinge to a whole new faucet. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
The 2025 Hercules Tires MAC Basketball Championships are returning to Atlantic City's iconic Jim Whalen Boardwalk Hall for the 6th consecutive year, March 11th through the 15th, featuring 22 men's and women's teams. The tournament is fun for the family, featuring a band jam, Spirit Squad showcase, Kids Day, and mascot game. Don't miss the chance to be a part of the action to see who will cut down the nets and earn a spot in the big dance. Visit MacSports.com/basketball for more information.
Hey, I got you something.
What's this?
Just a little Galentine's gift from JTV.
Do you mean jewelry television? I love their jewelry. They have the
New customers get $25 off their first purchase of $75 or more. Visit jtv.com/romance.
Yeah, their artisan collections, gorgeous.
Are you going to open your gift?
Oh, yeah. It's the pearl bracelet.
New customers receive $25 off their first purchase of $75 or more. Visit jtv.com/romance.
Taxes was not knowing your full financial picture. Now Taxes is getting and maximizing your refund all in one place. Credit Karma, where a TurboTax expert can do your taxes for you. They'll get you the most money back, guaranteed. Then you can do more with all that money, all in Credit Karma. Now this is Taxes. Intuit Credit Karma with TurboTax. Get started today. See guaranteed details at turbotax.com/guarantees. Experts only available with TurboTax Live.
The home team is making the trip to the big game, which means you've got to make the trip to the Pick. The Pick-A-Lily Inn does game day catering better than anyone, with ready-to-go pick packs your guests will cheer for. Get 30 tails or ears for just $59 in delicious hot and honey, smoker, honey barbecue, garlic parm, Jim Beam maple, or their award-winning buffalo and mild, spicy or hot. Schedule pickup before game day and follow simple heat any instructions. The Pick-A-Lily Inn, Route 206, Shamong. Follow the Pick on Facebook for game day specials or visit pickaalily.com and order now.
You're listening to The Sports Bash with Mike Gill on 97.3 ESPN and the free mobile app.
Josh Hennig filling in for Mike Gill here on The Sports Bash. Mike's traveling to New Orleans for Super Bowl 59. And as I mentioned earlier, listen, the big game, you have to have wings. It is the most, in-demand food every year for the big game. Like, it's number one in America. It's number one in New Jersey. So that means you got to make a trip to the Pick for their award-winning wings, tails, and ears. Champions place their orders for game day from the Pick-A-Lily in Shamong, New Jersey. Visit pickaalily.com and order now. And joining me right now from the Pick is Bonnie. Bonnie, how you doing today?
I'm good, thank you. Thanks for having me.
So we were having this interesting conversation off the air because how much did you guys have for the last time the Eagles were in the Super Bowl? I mean, you're talking about tons of chicken.
Tons of chicken. We were saying we just had a delivery of over 3.5 tons of just wings coming up for this weekend. And that's not all of it. I mean, we have to bring in extra refrigerated storage and tons of fresh chicken breasts, our ears, our chicken fingers. That all has to get delivered. Everything's pretty much coming in tomorrow for sure, so that we're set up and ready to go.
So you guys are more than prepared for all these orders that are going to come in. So what I want to know from you is, because people love to brag about, oh, we have the best wings, blah, blah, blah. Everyone says, but we know the Pick-A-Lily has the best wings. So for someone who hasn't been to the Pick, tell them why the Pick is different than the rest.
Well, first of all, what a lot of people don't know is that our wings are kosher. We never cut them. So recently someone asked for flats. And we've been selling wings since 1987. I wasn't even sure what a flat was. We do not cut them. So it's the whole wing. So when you're getting 50 wings, they are consistently, like, it's always the whole thing. You're getting the whole wing. So it's technically like 2 from somewhere else if they do party wings or if they serve them separated. But what makes them different is that they are kosher. Which gives the skin a little salted flavor. Once it's mixed with our sauce, it has a little sweetness to it. I think that's really what makes the difference.
To me, when you talk about how being the whole wing and not being separated, that's a big deal too. Because when someone is ordering, for example, a bucket of wings, they're not getting these tiny little things. They're getting a whole, as you said, wing. And I think that's a big deal because people are getting literally what they pay for at the Pick-A-Lily.
Oh, well, thanks. Yeah. Some people tend to say they're always on the smaller side, and we've always gotten them from the same farm for over 30 years now. But the owner of the farm had said to me that they may be small, but if anyone says that to you, that just means they're a fresher chicken. The bigger the wing, the older the chicken. So I always remember that, to say that to someone when they say, oh, they're just so small. But we've never strayed from the same farm. We've always had the same product. So that we're happy about, and so I stand by that.
So, Eagles, Super Bowl 59.
You're making me nervous just saying it.
Well, how are you feeling? You said you're nervous. Like, are you excited?
Super Bowl is always the biggest day of the year. It's turned into the biggest weekend of the year. The biggest day and weekend that we have ever had in the history of the Pick-A-Lily was when the Eagles were in last time. So this makes me really nervous.
Bigger than 2018.
2018 was the biggest.
2018 was the biggest?
Yes.
So then 2022 outdid 2018?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. It was the one that they won. That was our biggest.
Okay, so 2018 was the biggest. 2022 is second. So now we're looking at 2025 is maybe like...
Let's see. I have been nervous all week. This is something that stresses me out beyond compare, because it says it's a complete circus, and we are redoing our building in the front that needed a new foundation. And when we started it months ago, I could have told you that the Eagles would win just to make it a little bit more difficult. But we're going to make it happen.
Now, one of the things he talks about, you guys can schedule for pickup ahead of time, and you give reheating instructions. So talk about the reheating instructions and the pickup ahead of time.
Sure. A lot of people now have gotten very smart and pick up on Saturday rather than Sunday. When you're prepping for your party, you don't have to worry about it. You come in on Saturday. We give you a product that's been cooked and cooled, give you all the sauce that you need on the side, give you reheating instructions, and that's the way it's going to taste as best as it does in the restaurant for your party. So if you call ahead, give us the time for your pickup. Saturday is great. Sunday's better. We'll have it ready when you're there.
Do you have a favorite sauce?
I like the garlic parm. It was one of the ones that we did differently. We were always just mild, then spicy, then hot, and smokers are our hottest, not to be confused with a smoky flavor. It's the hottest that we have. And then garlic parm was our first one we kind of went different on. And I think simple is easy. We should have just kept with that. But we do have Jim Beam maple, honey barbecue, hot and honey, teriyaki, and I think I'm missing one.
I'm a honey barbecue guy. So that's why I was wondering where you would go with that. Because to me, there's nothing like that little bite of honey mixed in with the little bit of saltiness and a little bit of barbecue. Kind of all offsets each other.
Right? So. Believe it or not, hot and honey is like one of the most popular sauces. And that was one of the last ones that we added.
Nice. And of course, folks can go to Piccalilli.com to order now. And of course, again, Super Bowl 59. If you're going to have a party, you have to have wings. We have empirical evidence of this. We have studies that are done. You can go to 973ESPN.com. It is the most popular food. So if you're going to get it, you got to go to the one and the only Piccalilli, Piccalilli.com, and order now. Bonnie, thank you for being here.
Thank you so much for having me.
Josh Hennig filling in for Mike Gill here on 97.3 ESPN. Still to come, we'll get more into Super Bowl 59. Rob Maaddi from the Associated Press joins me coming up at 3:20. Geoff Mosher, football at 4, powered by the Inside the Birds podcast. Scott Graham, of course, from Westwood One Sports and the Eagles preseason broadcast. He's joining me at 4:30. But coming up on the other side, Sixers made a move. Should we even care? We'll get into that with Austin Krell coming up next from Pattinson Ave, Sixers insider. Joining me here, Josh Hennig filling for Mike Gill. He is on his way to New Orleans. 97.3 ESPN FM, the 97.3 ESPN mobile app powered by First Bank of Sea Isle City. And of course, to come, I told you I have a conspiracy theory with the Eagles. Something happened last night at the media day, and I am calling shenanigans. All that and more next hour on 97.3 ESPN.
It's Sixers basketball tonight on 97.3 ESPN with the voice of the Sixers, Tom McGinnis, calling all the exciting play-by-play action.
Oubre has it again. This time he fires. It's good. He nailed it. A triple from the right side by Oubre.
It's Sixers Maverick tonight. Coverage begins at 7 p.m. It's Sixers basketball all season long on South Jersey's radio home for Philadelphia 76ers basketball. 97.3 ESPN.
Hi, I'm Larry Mintz. When dealing with a workers' compensation claim, in most cases the injured worker doesn't get the money they're entitled to. That's why you need the right lawyer. When injured on the job, call us first. We'll speak with you for free and get you all the money and benefits you deserve.
Make the right call to Golden Bird Mackler. Call us at 609-344-7131. That's 609-344-7131. Or visit us online at gmslaw.com.
Okay, I have to tell you, I was just looking on eBay where I go for all kinds of things I love, and there it was.
That hologram trading card. One of the rarest, the last one I needed for my set. Shiny like the
designer handbag of my dreams. One of a kind. eBay had it, and now everyone's asking, ooh, where'd you get your
windshield wipers? eBay has all the parts that fit my car. No more annoying, just beautiful.
Whatever you love, find it on eBay. eBay. Things people love.
Over 40 years ago, John Jenkins Sr. invented the heated bench for football players. Today, Jenkins Plumbing, Heating, and Air Conditioning brings that same innovation and reliability to your home or business. Need plumbing repairs or a new gas furnace, boiler, or water heater? Ask about utility loans up to $25,000 at 0% for 7 years and rebates up to $29.50. Call 609-641-6440 or visit jenkinsandsons.com.
Taxes was not knowing your full financial picture. Now Taxes is getting and maximizing your refund all in one place. Credit Karma, where a TurboTax expert can do your taxes for you. They'll get you the most money back, guaranteed. Then you can do more with all that money, all in Credit Karma. Now this is Taxes. Intuit Credit Karma with TurboTax. Get started today. See guarantee details at TurboTax.com/guarantees. Experts only available with TurboTax Live.
Hey, it's Mike Gill. The Nizam's Indian Restaurant on Route 40 in Egg Harbor Township is ready to serve you delicious Indian dishes. NJ.com ranked them as the #2 best restaurant in all of New Jersey. And this just in. It's their Eagles football special. Your table receives free tandoori, spicy chicken wings if the Eagles win for dine-in customers only. Join them for a special lunch buffet, Fridays through Sundays from 11:30 to 3 p.m. Visit thenizams.com for more information.
This is a story of the one. As a maintenance specialist for university housing, he knows college students can major in wear and tear. Plus, housing so many students doesn't leave a lot of room to house all the supplies he needs. That's where Grainger comes in. With over 1 million industrial-grade products and fast, dependable delivery, Grainger carries the quality products he needs so he doesn't have to. From a new door hinge to a whole new faucet. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Why would someone looking for a mortgage at the Jersey Shore take a loan from a company in Detroit or North Carolina or some other far-off place? Online mortgages promise a lot but don't always deliver. First Bank of Sea Isle City knows the Jersey Shore. We are local lenders. We use local appraisers and provide in-house processing. We understand the unique obstacles of financing in Cape May County. Don't take a chance. Local banking is better. Let us guide you. First Bank of Sea Isle City.
Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender. Accomplishing goals is hard, but when your goal is to learn a new language, Babbel makes it easy. Babbel is designed with you in mind. From expert-created lessons to conversational video units and even live classes, you can personalize your Babbel experience to be exactly what you need to really learn a new language more easily. Go ahead, set a goal for yourself. Accomplish it with Babbel. Try Babbel for free. Go to BABBEL.com. That's Babbel.com.
Are you ready, South Jersey? As the birds soar to the big game, Broadleys is here to keep your home comfort in the game. Don't let a broken heater or leaky pipe ruin your celebration. Call Broadleys Plumbing, Heating, and Air Conditioning for fast, reliable service you can trust. Just dial 609-390-3907 or visit Broadleys.net. Go Birds and go with Broadleys, your hometown plumbing and heating champs since 1911.
South Jersey's official play-by-play home of the Eagles, Sixers, and Flyers.
At 0 point would I ever consider not being a fan of the team.
97.3 ESPN, WENJ, WENJ HD, Millville, Atlantic City. A Town Square media station serving all of South Jersey. This is the Sports Bash with Mike Gill on 97.3 ESPN and the 97.3 ESPN free mobile app. Now live from inside the Ocean Casino Resort studio, here's Mike Gill.
Josh Hennig filling in for Mike Gill in the 3 o'clock hour, being brought to you by Broadleys Plumbing, Heating, and Air Conditioning. Broadleys is your trusted source for heating and plumbing service and installation for generations. Call them at 609-390-3907 or visit them online at broadleys.net. Sixers made a trade. Should we even care? The indifference of the Sixers fan base is starting to build. And one man who knows his team better than anyone is Austin Krell, of course. You used to see all of his coverage with 97.3 ESPN.com. Now he's with onpattinson.com. And he joins us right now to get more into the Sixers trading away Caleb Martin. Austin, welcome in. How you doing today?
I'm doing well, Josh. Thanks for having me.
So, Austin, to me, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, but to me, a lot of this deal is, hey, you're basically unloading a guy who's under contract for multiple years. You're getting a guy whose contract is going to expire after this year. So this feels more like a business transaction than a basketball deal. Is that fair?
I wouldn't say that necessarily. What I'll lead with is, while what you said is accurate, that Caleb is under contract for more years and Quentin Grimes is going to be expiring. Quentin Grimes is also on a rookie deal. He will be a restricted free agent this summer. They will have his bird rights. They will have the opportunity to match any contract he gets as a free agent. So you could very well see the Sixers having long-term plans for a guy like Quentin Grimes. And I mean, are there tax dollar implications here? Like, does this get them closer to the tax line? Sure. Even if they won't explicitly admit it, like, the simple fact of the matter is that Caleb made a lot more money than Quentin did, and therefore it gets you closer to the tax line. But I also think you take a look around the league and around the new CBA, and there's a chance that maybe if the Sixers want to get off Caleb Martin in the future, they have more problems doing so. So they cut bait early and they get a guy who is younger, a better shooter, and they can keep at a more reasonable cost long term. That's sort of the way I view it. I don't view this as as necessarily a tanking move. I don't view this as them making a move to cut salary. I view this as walk the line between today and tomorrow.
And I believe he's, 4 years younger than Martin is, Grimes?
I think he's 5.
5 years. Okay, but still 4 or 5 years. So you are getting younger as well, which I think is a concern for some people out there, Austin, because of the fact that you do have a lot of older players on this team that maybe some Sixer fans would like to see.
Well, wouldn't you also argue that Sixers fans want to get younger because they're tired of seeing older players who cannot move as well? Like, I think making the case for getting older is, or at least more towards the median, which I guess would be like 26, 27. Sure. But I also think that there is another interesting facet to this deal in that they specifically got back their own first-round pick this summer. Now, they can either choose to keep that pick or they can choose to reroute that pick to somewhere else. And they have not given any indication that they are going to bottom out. Paul George is out tonight, but Joel is questionable. They're still very much in the hunt for the play-in tournament. So you could very well see a scenario where they say, we want this pick because there's another team out there that has something that we want, and they would like to bet against us achieving our goal this season. So we're going to get our own pick back and trade it to them for something, and try to prove their bet wrong. So I think if you're trying to find the balance between getting a guy who has shown flashes, has a skill set that you need, get you an asset that can help you make future deals down the line, and oh, by the way, put you ever so slightly closer to keeping Gershon Yabusele, I think this deal accomplishes all of that.
Talk with Austin Krell, covers the 76ers for OnPattinson.com, at NBA Krell on the TwitterX platform. Joining me, Josh Hennig, filling in for Mike Gill here on 97.3 ESPN. Now, Austin, you mentioned about how there's layers to this. Last year, Daryl Morey really only made the one move, which was Buddy Hield. So you feel like this move might be a precursor to more. Am I understand that correctly?
Without having the specific intel, I would say that making a trade on Tuesday for one of the guys he thought was going to be one of your more important rotation players would suggest that you're lining up something else.
Gotcha. So, if you're lining up something else, I know one of the conversations that was had if I can just bring you into something I heard earlier, was a lot of the people on different platforms are saying that this is a time of year that there's almost no 1-for-1 trades anymore, that this is a 3-4 team era of trade. So is it possible that we may see another big trade like a Jimmy Butler get traded, but the Sixers be one of the teams involved in some of those moving parts?
Yeah, I mean, it's certainly possible. Like, with all the reporting was that Danny Ainge didn't even know that the Jazz were involved in the Lakers trade for Luka Doncic,
right?
Until it was closing time, and the only reason that they were basically like, "Yeah, let's do it," was because they were like, "Here's a player, here's 2 picks, shut up about it and take it."
Well, it's funny because it's like they kept that whole thing so close to the vest. I mean, nobody knew about that Luka AD trade. I got to think that kind of maybe raised flags for other people to be like, hey, can you guys give me a little more information before you make a deal here?
Yeah, I mean, and again, I think this comes back to reloading your pick equity. Like, that second-round pick could be viewed as something close to a late first-round pick in some drafts. If the Sixers end up missing the playoffs or bottoming out in the play-in, that pick could be in the 30s. So if it's the right draft, I mean, you have to think about this through the perspective of any front office could think anything. Like, for God's sakes, the Mavs front office just traded away a 25-year-old for a 32-year-old because of what they thought about Luka Doncic, and that was not something that anyone else thought about Luka Doncic. So we're all thinking about perspective of these front offices here, and if a front office thinks that pick is immensely valuable, then suddenly it behooves the Sixers to be like, well, how can we get that pick back? Let's work out a trade here with Dallas to get that pick back from them, and the terms of that involve Caleb Martin and a guy who the Mavericks did not see coming back for them long term.
Now, Austin, without naming, I'm not looking for you to name any specific players, but is there a type of player that you think this team still needs to get before the deadline? Like, is it like another wing player? Is it another shooter? Like, what type of player do you think they need?
I think they just need a little bit more guard depth. I don't think you can. I mean, you could very well argue that they lost the last 2 games in the minutes that Tyrese Maxey was on the bench, or you could say obviously the Denver game is different because they explicitly lost that game when Maxey got cross switched onto the Jokic. But the Celtics game got out of hand when Maxey was off the floor. So you could say guard depth is something that they certainly need. I'm inclined to say, even though Joel has had the season he's had and Drummond's toe mysteriously doesn't seem to function, they have quite a few options at center. So forward, they have a bunch of guys there who are wings. I think, to me, the obvious one is just getting another ball handler on the court, getting some guards that can play, that aren't just doubling down on smaller lineups without Maxey and Reggie Jackson and Kyle Lowry.
I'm glad you mentioned that because, I understand they've had some success with those smaller lineups, but man, watching those lineups out there sometimes, it's awkward to watch, guys getting much bigger players. Like the Celtics game on Sunday, I mean, it felt like every other play, Tatum or Brown was getting switched onto a guy who was 5-6 inches shorter than them.
Yeah, and I mean, that's sort of been some of the cross matching has been an issue for them all year long. And I mean, I've written one of the biggest things that the Celtics are excellent at is finding advantages and manipulating them until they bleed. And the early in the game on Sunday, it was, all right, where's Tyrese Maxey? Bring him into the action. Let's go at him until they have to make a decision with keeping him in the game or he gets in foul trouble. So they've had to play this game all season where they're undersized, where they're playing older guys, so their perimeter defense is a little bit helter-skelter. But also, their transition defense has been a big problem, and that leads to all kinds of issues. It's funny. it's almost like a lot of this gets solved if Joel Embiid is on the floor, and that is not for me to say like I blame all of this on him. I think I think he genuinely wishes that this was playing out much differently, but his body is his body, and that's all there is to it. But like, you know, transition defense starts with making shots, and that means having good, better offense. And Joel solves that, and that means you're in transition less, and that means you're in chaos on defense less. So it would all be a nice start tonight if they could get Joel back.
Well, that's a great point where I want to get to before I let you go. Austin Krell from onpattinson.com at NBA Krell on the Twitter X platform. You know, I've always felt like this roster was built for Joel Embiid more than it was for Tyrese Maxey. Not that they didn't build the roster with Maxey being a part of the team, but I felt like a lot of the spacing and the shooters and the different players, this was constructed with the idea of Embiid was going to play, let's say, 60 to 70 games, and him not playing has definitely not just hurt the team in the most literal sense, but in terms of, to me, I see a roster that was built for a guy who's been unavailable.
Yeah, I mean, if you were going to if you were going to build around Tyrese, you would say, give me someone who is like a Dembona, a vertical spacer and lob threat. Give me shooting and give me some defensive chops on the wings. And that would be how you build around Tyrese Maxey, maybe add another ball handler in the mix. This team is expressly built around Joel, clearly, with the wing who can create for himself, a guard that can push pace but also shoot off the catch, off the dribble, and run pick and roll. And you know, it's the reason that this whole thing has fallen apart is because the guy this is all centered around has not been available, and Paul has been thrust into the second option when he was really supposed to be the third option. So like when people get mad about Paul George, to me it's like you're getting mad at a guy because he's not doing a job that he didn't sign up for. Like he was supposed to be the third option in this ideal world. So, you know, that's been a problem. But a lot of credit to Tyrese Maxey. Not only has he made a jump defensively this season, but like, and I've written about this a lot. Like you've seen a leap on offense from him too lately. He's really blossomed into a control the pace of the game and dictate everything about the game. Like people used to make the comment that he was like, he reminded them of Allen Iverson because of his size and his speed. Well, now it's because like of the way that he emits swagger on the court. Like he's rocking guys to sleep and then crossing over to the other side and drilling shots on the pull up. And he's getting into the paint, getting foul calls. He's manipulating guys with different speeds, like thoroughly blowing teams apart. I mean, the Lakers put poor Bronny James out there the other night thinking that they were going to, they were going to sleepwalk to a win against Sixers, and Tyrese Maxey was like, this is my meal for the night. I'm going to eat this. And Tyrese Maxey by himself essentially put the Lakers to bed.
Check out all the Sixers coverage at On Pattinson. It's Austin Krell at NBA Krell on Twitter X platform. Sixers back in action tonight as they take on, well, the team they just traded with, the Dallas Mavericks. Austin Krell. So enjoy that storyline for tonight's game.
And by the way, anyone who is not certain about the trade, I can't promise you anything, but I can promise you that right now, if you're making a deal with the Dallas Mavericks, chances are you probably want it because they seem to be in all kinds of flux right now.
Yeah, that's very true. Austin, great stuff. Appreciate you jumping on.
Thank you, Josh.
Josh Hennig filling in for Mike Gill here on the Sports Bash on 97.3 ESPN FM, the 97.3 ESPN mobile app powered by First Bank of Seattle. Yes, the Sixers play the Mavs tonight, the team they just traded with. Tom McGinnis calling all the action. Here you're home for the Eagles, Sixers and Flyers in South Jersey, 97.3 ESPN. All right, back to the football coming up next as well. Rob Maaddi from the Associated Press. Dan from EHC will get your text a little bit later in the hour at 609-403-0973. Plus, my conspiracy theory. Some of you might like it. Some of you might hate it. I'm just warning you. Rob Maaddi's next conspiracy theory coming up in about 30 minutes from now. All that and more still to come on the Sports Bash. Josh Hennig filling for Mike Gill, who's on his way to New Orleans. This is 97.3 ESPN.
Wake up weekday mornings from 6 to 10 a.m. with Unsportsmanlike on 97.3 ESPN with Evan Cohen, Super Bowl champion Chris Canty, and Michelle Small.
Can't wake up without it.
Brought to you by the Gallery Bar Book and Games at Ocean Casino Resort in Atlantic City.
For over 100 years, South Jersey Gas has delivered reliable, natural gas service to more than 400,000 New Jersey homes and businesses. From heating your home to cooking meals, drying laundry, and relaxing in a warm bath, natural gas brings comfort and convenience to your daily life. Businesses rely on natural gas for higher efficiency and lower operating costs. Always dependable, always ready. Discover the benefits of natural gas. Visit southjerseygas.com/gaspower. Go Birds!
Progressive knows finding your new home was a dream come true. You wanted a Colonial with high ceilings, hardwood floors, and a peaceful neighborhood. And you found it. Now, every Saturday at 6 a.m., you get to wake to the sound of your neighbor's leaf blower. Progressive can't save you from your noisy neighbors, but we can save you money when you bundle your home and auto with us. Get a quote at Progressive.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company affiliates and other insurers not available in all states.
Winter is here. Are you prepared? Don't get left in the dark. Kelvy Electric, a certified Generac dealer, has you covered. From installation to maintenance, they're your go-to experts for Generac generators, ensuring your home stays powered through any storm. A Generac home standby generator will automatically restore power to your home during an outage, so your life goes on uninterrupted. Put your trust in Kelvy Electric, the premier electrical contractor, serving South Jersey for over 110 years. Visit CalvyElectric.com today and stay ahead of any storm.
Taxes was not knowing your full financial picture. Now Taxes is getting and maximizing your refund all in one place. Credit Karma, where a TurboTax expert can do your taxes for you. They'll get you the most money back, guaranteed. Then you can do more with all that money, all in Credit Karma. Now this is taxes. Intuit Credit Karma with TurboTax. Get started today. See guarantee details at TurboTax.com/guarantees. Experts only available with TurboTax Live.
So you need a new car or SUV, but you're upside down in your trade, but you're worried about your down payment, but your credit is less than perfect. Bring your butts to any Matt Blatt Kia today. With over 1,100 new Kias, all with zero down, zero payments until April, or get $10,000 in bonus cash, or 0% for 72 months on every clearly marked Kia EV6 and 9. Buried in a loan or lease? Matt Blatt Kia wants to get you released. New all-wheel drive Kia Sportage or Sorento. 1.9% for 60 months. Matt Blatt Kia with our PA and New Jersey Kia superstores. Abington, Egg Harbor Township, Toms River, or right to your front door.
It's gotta be a Matt Blatt Kia.
With approved credit, $13.89 per thousand finance. Not all will qualify. Credit may affect down payment. Offers can't be combined. Go to mattblattkianj.com for complete details or 888-505-6670. Price includes all costs to be paid by consumer, except for licensing, registration, and taxes through KMF. Rebates and incentives to dealer. Expires 2/4/25. Matt Blatt Kia, 6211 Black Horse Pike. Egg Harbor Township and on Route 37 in Toms River.
Oh no, stomach issues again?
Stomach issues? Who are you? Your pancreas. I could be the real reason for your diarrhea, gas, bloating, stomach pain, or loose oily stools.
I thought it was my stomach.
People often do, but any of these symptoms could mean having a condition called exocrine pancreatic insufficiency, or EPI. With EPI, the pancreas doesn't release enough enzymes to break down food, but EPI is manageable. Use the symptom checker on identifyepi.com and speak with your doctor. That's identifyepi.com. Sponsored by AbbVie.
Over 40 years ago, John Jenkins Sr. invented the heated bench for football players. Today, Jenkins Plumbing, Heating, and Air Conditioning brings that same innovation and reliability to your home or business. Need plumbing repairs or a new gas furnace, boiler, or water heater? Ask about utility loans up to $25,000 at 0% for 7 years and rebates up to $29.50. Call 609-641-6440 or visit jenkinsandsons.com.
Okay, I have to tell you, I was just looking on eBay where I go for all kinds of things I love, and there it was.
That hologram trading card. One of the rarest, the last one I needed for my set. Shiny like the
designer handbag of my dreams. One of a kind. eBay had it, and now everyone's asking, ooh, where'd you get your
windshield wipers? eBay has all the parts that fit my car. No more annoying, just beautiful.
Whatever you love, find it on eBay. eBay, things people love.
Go to get your game on at the Gallery Bar Book and Games at Ocean Casino Resort. Cheers your favorite drinks while cheering on your favorite team. Get in on the parlay while in the middle of a party. Go for the sports scene and go for the endless screens. Go to the gallery. Go to the Fanatics Sportsbook. Go for the win at Ocean Casino Resort. For more information, visit theoceanac.com. Must be 21 or older to wager or consume alcohol. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
It's the Sports Bash with Mike Gill.
And I am the voice of the voiceless.
On 97.3 ESPN and the 97.3 ESPN free mobile app.
3:23 here on the Sports Bash. Josh Hennig filling in for Mike Gill here on 97.3 ESPN as Mike is on his way to New Orleans for Super Bowl 59. A man who's already in New Orleans. He got some questions in with Rob Maaddi and all the people yesterday during opening night. Rob Maaddi, AP senior NFL writer and reporter, joins me right now. He does each and every week here on 97.3 ESPN. Rob, I appreciate you carving in some time for me. How's it going?
What's going on, Josh? It's starting to get a little crazy here in New Orleans, and I only anticipate it getting a little bit more hectic as more fans for both teams start to arrive later this week.
One of the comments that's been made by a lot of people last night, Rob, was about the fact that a lot of the Eagle players are very poised. They're very calm. They're very, hey, we know we have a job to do here. Did you get that same vibe from them being in the building last night?
Oh, yeah. It's I love hearing Saquon Barkley keep talking about, it's not about just getting here. It's about winning it. And it really is. It's you get to this point, the Eagles have been here 2 years ago and lost. And only the champion is honored and remembered, and you walk away losing, and you're just like each one of the other 31 teams. You didn't get the job done. So I think that the Eagles are focused. They know the task at hand. They know how difficult it is to beat the Chiefs. This is a team that's on the verge of history. If they can three-peat, they'd be the first team ever to win 3 Super Bowls in a row in the Super Bowl era. So it's an enormous task, a monumental task ahead of them, and it's going to need and require them to be at their best, focused, no distractions. And it's hard, Josh. It's hard to limit the distractions when you have to face the media last night in what is an absolute spectacle. It's a zoo. It's a circus-like atmosphere for 1 hour, these guys. And you have 10 players on risers, but then you have the rest of the team, practice squad guys, they're just like walking around, and there's thousands of media coming up to them, asking them the dumbest questions, nothing to do with football. I actually joined in that yesterday because I had to, so I had to ask some non-football silly stuff too as well. But it's difficult. And then 10 players are available today, then the whole team again Wednesday and again on Thursday. So it's not until Thursday afternoon when they're finished their availability that they don't have any more obligations with the media. But that's why you get the game plan installed last week. That's why last week you do everything. So this week is about walkthroughs, fine-tuning, and I think the Eagles know what it takes to get the job done. It's just a matter of going out there and executing against one of the best teams that we've ever seen.
Rob, I made the comment earlier that, what gets overlooked in this rematch conversation is that Saquon was not here 2 years ago, and Vic Fangio was not here 2 years ago. So when you're talking about this team, yes, in the most literal sense, it is the Eagles and Chiefs rematching, but these are not the same exact Eagles and Chiefs that were on the field 2 years ago.
No, and Fangio hasn't beaten Patrick Mahomes in 8 tries, and that's obviously something that's on a lot of people's minds. I asked some guys about that, so it's known. It hasn't happened, but they are different. 8 different starters for the Eagles on defense. It's a better defense in many ways than they were 2 years ago, and the offense is just a little bit more dynamic with Saquon Barkley. Jalen Hurts is 2 more years of experience. He's not making mistakes. He's not committing turnovers. Obviously, we look back at the Super Bowl that they lost, and as great of a game as Jalen Hurts had in that one, he had that fumble that was returned for a touchdown. That was the difference maker. So he can't have that. Can't afford to have any penalties, any costly penalties, any costly turnovers. Sometimes you have, and it's happened, and we've seen it happen in games involving Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs, where it's essentially a turnover if you have a roughing the passer on 3rd and 15 or 3rd and 12 or whatever it may be, right? So they have to be mindful of everything and be detail-oriented and take every little step to ensure that they come out on top.
Talking to Ron Maaddi from the Associated Press. He is down there in New Orleans for Super Bowl 59. Josh Hennig filling in for Mike Gill here on 97.3 ESPN. Rob, when you think about, the Eagles as well, how much do you think that there is more pressure on Kansas City to get that three-peat? Maybe a little more than it is for the Eagles, because people are assuming Kansas City is going to win this. All these people are placing bets out there, right? Is there maybe a part of the Eagles that realizes, this time people are not expecting us to win the game?
I think so, and I think some players also know that fan sentiment is with the Eagles, that fans want them to win the game. The majority of fans across the country, that is, who don't want to see. They got a little bit of Chiefs fatigue, a little bit of tired of the Chiefs winning. But the pressure is, I think the pressure is squarely on Kansas City. The expectation is that they should win the game, right? And I know the spreads. Is it 1.5 still? I have to make my pick tomorrow. I saw it at 1.5.
It's been hanging there since it first opened several days ago. The line hasn't moved at all, even though all kinds of money is jumping all over the place.
Wow, I would have thought it could sway one way or another, but to stay there, it's a tough line. It's a tough game to pick. I think the Eagles are the more talented team. The Chiefs just have that magic. They have that ability to win close games at the end. They have that ability to get a close call go their way, and it's tough to come out there, and I have a hard time picking this game, and I'm going to pick the Eagles because I did it in the preseason, and I'm going to just stick with my Eagles over Chiefs prediction. But I'm having a hard time. Like, I wouldn't, if you're a gambler, I'd stay away from this game. 1.5 spread, like it's hard to do. Like there's no real feel. I don't have a real strong feel one way or another. I just think that the Eagles have the better, more talented team. But we've seen Kansas City win as underdogs. They're a slight favorite. They went on the road last year. They won in the playoffs. Nothing seems to faze them. They find a way. You got Andy Reid, who's one of the best coaches in NFL history. You got Patrick Mahomes chasing Tom Brady. You got Travis Kelce, who finds a way to get it done each year in the playoffs. And then Steve Spagnuolo's defense, I think, is not talked about as much as it should be. Consider this, Josh. Like, Saquon's playing, and the Eagles didn't have him 2 years ago, and we know what Saquon's been able to do and all the great numbers that he's put up in it's a historic season. He's 30 yards away from setting an NFL record for most yards rushing in a season, postseason, and regular. But Spags' defenses have never allowed a 100-yard rusher in 18 playoff games. That's going to be just a big-time challenge for the Eagles' offense and for Saquon. And obviously we know he can get 65 or 70 on one carry, and that'll help him get that 100. And nobody cares if he gets 98 and they win or if he gets 200 and they lose, right? As long as you get the W. But that's part of the challenge. The defense on Kansas City is kind of carried them in stretches earlier this year when Mahomes – at one point, Mahomes had more interceptions than touchdowns, maybe through week 6, It was like 8 touchdowns, 9 picks, and he's been on a tear since then. But there was that early season funk that he was in that was like, whoa, what's going on here? And they're winning, and they're undefeated, and the defense is carrying them. So this is a very, very difficult game to look at from a standpoint of trying to break down or have confidence in one team or another winning, which sets up for what should be another fantastic. We had a Super Bowl last year go to overtime. We had the Super Bowl the year that with the Eagles and Bucker kicking a field goal at the end, and it didn't work out Philly's way. And obviously there was the James Bradbury penalty in that one. But I would be surprised if this isn't another down-to-the-wire field goal game. That can be a concern if you're an Eagles fan. I know they're in a dome and the elements aren't a problem, but Jake Elliott struggled this year, and Harrison Butker is such a clutch kicker.
So I want to back up to what you said about Spagnuolo, because I'm gonna play a little contrarian with you, okay, Rob? Because I understand that no individual running back has had 100 yards, but the Chiefs' defense allowed 149 to the Texans and 147 to the Bills. And I think we both would agree the Eagles' offensive lines are much better than the Bills and the Texans. And even if you go back to last year's postseason run, yeah, they didn't allow an individual rusher, but 182 against Buffalo last postseason. So, are we maybe looking at Spagnuolo's resume and not factoring in that, yeah, he hasn't allowed Saquon yet, but he hasn't faced Saquon?
Yeah, and right, if the team gives up 150 yards and one guy gets 85 and the other guy gets 70, right? You'll take that over 100-yard rusher. So that's where that stat is, and you can read whatever you want to in the stats. And Saquon is a special player, having an extremely special season with maybe the best offensive line in the NFL right now, going and blocking for him with all the weapons around them, with Jalen, with AJ, with Devontae, with Dallas Goedert. Like, this is, for as much of a challenge as it is for the Eagles, this is a big-time challenge for Spags, for the Chiefs defense, for them to and let's not forget at one point too, sort of after that early season stretch where the defense was carrying the Chiefs, then we saw a little bit there later on in the year, mid to late in the season, their secondary was vulnerable somewhat. So if they are shutting down Saquon, I think there's opportunities for Jalen to make some plays to A.J. Brown, to Devontae Smith, to Dallas Goedert, to whoever it may be. I think this is a game where I haven't seen the over-under on Jalen Hurts' passing yards. He could go over in this one. I think I could see that happening. This is going to be a game, I think, where they're going to have to win it by throwing the football. And there could be that kind of opportunity against the Chiefs, and it's a matter of picking up those blitzes. We saw how crazy some of those blitzes can be. We saw what he did to Josh Allen on 4th and 5, where he had a corner coming, and Allen was not ready for it. Didn't read it well. Still almost got the playoff, and if Dalton Kincaid makes that catch, but completely disrupted the play on 4th and 5. So Jalen's got to be on his game. He's got to be watching the film and making sure he's ready to go for whatever Spags is going to throw at him.
Rob, you mentioned about the passing and the defense. Have we not talked enough about the Eagles' offensive weapons versus the Chiefs? Because Trent McDuffie was arguably the best nickel in the NFL last year. Now he's playing on the outside, and no offense to Buffalo and the Texans, but they don't have the Eagles' offensive weapons, right?
Yeah, obviously they don't have a Saquon Barkley, and Isaiah Pacheco is, I got to tell you this. Last night in the craziness of the media sessions, there was a reporter who asked Braden Mann, where is Isaiah Pacheco because you're wearing his number? Braden Mann, he's like, no, he's number 10 for the other team. And the guy was
goodness.
Like, oh, yeah. So, yeah, but so there was one guy who wanted to speak to Isaiah Pacheco last night, but he certainly he's no Saquon Barkley, man. He's absolutely no Saquon. And the only edge I would give the Chiefs on offense would be with Patrick Mahomes over Jalen Hurts and Kelsey over Dallas Goedert, but I wouldn't even make that huge. Like, Dallas can make some plays, man. He can certainly make some plays. Give the Eagles a wide receiver edge. Give the Eagles the total offensive line edge. There's and Joe Thuney going out from left guard, all pro, to left tackle. It's a different position. He's played it, and he's done a decent job, but it's not easy. And I think there could be, especially if BG comes back and he's coming in off the fresh legs, off the edge on a guard playing left tackle. Maybe he can come through with another type of Brady strip sack or something along those lines. So I think the Eagles have more weapons on offense. Mahomes more than makes up for some of the differences, but there's nobody in the league that can compare right now to what Saquon's giving the Eagles. And he's just so focused on, like, going out there and finishing the job. It would not shock me to see Saquon go off again, to see Saquon break loose for one big run and get close to the 200 or get well over 150. Like, that would not be a shocker. As great as this Spagnuolo defense has been and all of that stuff, like, Saquon he's on a mission, and this team is right there with him in trying to get to finish the job. And that's all they're talking about right now, is finish the job.
Couple more for AP senior NFL writer Rob Maaddi joining me here on 97.3 ESPN. Josh Hennig filling in for Mike Gill on the Sports Bash. By the way, Mike just landed in New Orleans. I've seen that picture about 20 times on my social media feed, so I can confirm Mike Gill is on the ground in New Orleans. Rob, you mentioned about Brandon Graham. I'm 100% convinced he's playing, and not just because he slipped up last night and he got caught speaking a little bit too honestly, but because of the fact that, Rob, it was, I believe 12 years ago, Ray Lewis came back from a torn tricep with the same brace, with the same situation, and Ray Lewis re-tore his tricep the night before the Super Bowl, and he still played. So I'm assuming Brandon Graham is on the field on Sunday.
Yeah, I certainly think so. He was on a riser last night, so he's definitely a prominent person for media people to speak to today, and I just think that they're not bringing him back and going through this only to make him a game time healthy scratch or anything along those lines. I think you're going to expect BG to be out there. I don't know how many snaps he can play, but in some situational pass rushing downs where you got to get somebody to get after the quarterback, I think you can expect to see BG out there, fresh legs, somebody who's had experience. The moment's not going to be too big for him. He's not going to be intimidated. He's going to be out there yapping from the start, from before the game, and talking trash and doing everything else that he does. Sometimes it kind of pisses off even his own teammates because he's saying, he's talking trash to other defensive players, and then they got to go out there and face the Eagles' offensive line, not BG. But I think he'll be out there, and it wouldn't surprise me if he finds a way to make a great play too.
Rob, I would be remiss if I didn't bring this up because you are host of Faith on the Field, heard Saturday and Sunday mornings here on 97.3 ESPN. I don't know if it was just me, but it seemed like a lot more guys than usual were thanking God and being appreciative to, the man upstairs, God, Jesus, whatever they were saying throughout the night. What was your reaction to so many guys acknowledging God? Maybe it's just me, but it seems like it was much more at this year's media night than in past media nights.
Yeah, it was pretty cool. Heard Patrick Mahomes even say it today, too. Just talk about how Jesus is everything in his life. And we've heard some of these guys in years past also. It's kind of been all throughout college football this year, and Riley Leonard and Howard and these guys on the biggest stage throughout the week leading into the national title game, and now same thing with the Super Bowl. Barkley yesterday, thanking God. Nick Sirianni on the stage after the Eagles won the NFC Championship game. Jalen Hurts. So it's cool to see. It's cool to see guys really acknowledging that they are blessed with all these special skills, talents, and abilities. for a reason. They've got a platform, and you can use it to do good and to spread a great message of hope and spread a message of optimism and spread that kind of message of giving people something that they can take away from and learn from, and maybe they can also be encouraged and inspired and motivated in some positive way.
Rob Maaddi, the Associated Press AP senior NFL writer and reporter at Rob Maaddi on the Twitter X platform, joined us here on 97.3 ESPN. Rob, I appreciate you taking some time out of the week to jump on with me. We'll talk soon.
Thanks, man. I appreciate it. Keep up the great work, Josh.
Appreciate you, Rob. And, of course, this hour of the Sports Bash being brought to you by Broadleaf's Plumbing, Heating, and Air Conditioning. Broadleaf's is your trusted source for heating and plumbing service and installation for generations. Call them at 609-390-3907, online at broadleafs.net. Of course, we'll get more football in the next hour. Geoff Mosher, Football at 4. Scott Graham from Westwood 1 joining us at 4:30. But coming up next, my conspiracy theory involves Brandon Graham. You might not like it, but I got it for you coming up next on 97.3 ESPN.
It's Sixers basketball tonight on 97.3 ESPN with the voice of the Sixers, Tom McGinnis, calling all the exciting play-by-play action.
Oubre has it again. This time he fires. It's good. He nailed it. A triple from the right side by Oubre.
It's Sixers Maverick tonight. Coverage begins at 7 p.m. It's Sixers basketball all season long on South Jersey's radio home for Philadelphia 76ers basketball. 97.3 ESPN.
Something good to know from First Bank of Sea Isle City. We have all of today's innovative banking products just like the big banks, but we offer something they can't. A personal community focus. Let's get you started with Bill Pay. You save time when you pay your bills online. It's fast, easy, and convenient. First Bank of Sea Isle City. A community bank that delivers more for you every day. Personal service, today's technology, from the people who truly care. Learn more at firstbankseaisle.com.
Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
I've just been feeling so sluggish lately. You should try the Metamucil 2-Week Challenge. The Metamucil 2-Week Challenge? Yeah, Metamucil 4-in-1 Fiber helps trap and remove the waste that weighs you down. Start your daily routine now, and in 2 weeks, you could be feeling great. Well, it's been 2 weeks. How you feeling? Lighter and feeling great.
If you want to feel lighter by promoting digestive health, sign up to take the 2-week challenge at Metamucil.com. These statements have not been evaluated by the Food and Drug Administration. This product is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease.
Lowe's knows that your deadlines don't change, even when your job does. But with Lowe's Buy Online, Pick Up in Store, we'll help you adjust on the fly. And when you absolutely can't leave the project, we can deliver to your job site as soon as same day. Lowe's knows pros. We help, you save. Valid on eligible in-stock orders and select zip codes placed by 2 p.m. for same-day delivery by 8 p.m. Subject to driver availability. Fees vary based on purchase. More terms apply. See Lowe's.com/same-day delivery for details.
Taxes was not knowing your full financial picture. Now Taxes is getting and maximizing your refund all in one place. Credit Karma, where a TurboTax expert can do your taxes for you. They'll get you the most money back, guaranteed. Then you can do more with all that money, all in Credit Karma. Now this is taxes. Intuit Credit Karma with TurboTax. Get started today. See guarantee details at turbotax.com/guarantees. Experts only available with TurboTax Live.
My whole identity had been wrapped up in being a soldier. To have that so violently ripped from me when I was wounded, I was lost for a very long time. When Wounded Warrior Project came into my life, being around the other warriors, people that had similar experiences that I did, it was a game changer for me. Having King join the group, that was the beginning of a really good friendship. But it's a good time.
I first heard about Wounded Warrior Project through CQ. And at first I was kind of like, I don't know if I qualify. But having been a part of it, it's kind of taught me that it's not just the wounds that you can see, but it's those that you can't.
When you do something like a peer support group with Wounded Warrior Project and come together from different walks of life, man, the growth is incredible. If not for Wounded Warrior Project, I really don't think that I'd be here today.
See how we help warriors combat stigma at woundedwarriorproject.org/combat stigma.
This is the story of the one
Who, as a maintenance specialist for a historic high-rise, knows that vintage charm historically needs constant attention. Which is why, when it's time to upgrade turn-of-the-century mechanicals, they turn to Grainger. With easy access to 1 million-plus products and the scale to deliver when and where you need them. The right tools and supplies are never far away. So the one can keep that vintage building running like new. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
ZipRecruiter is the place. ZipRecruiter is the place for talented teachers, savvy software developers, and master mixologists. ZipRecruiter is the place where you meet all these people and more. That's because ZipRecruiter is the place for job seekers who are looking for new opportunities. In fact, ZipRecruiter helps 10 million people with their job search every day, so you can find the right candidates right away. Try ZipRecruiter for free at ziprecruiter.com/free. That's ziprecruiter.com/free.
Progressive's Auto Quote Explorer lets you easily compare direct rates from different insurance companies, so you can be confident you're getting the right one, even if it's not with Progressive. Way more confident than you were when you bought that TV in a parking lot. It just happened to not come in a box or include a remote. And when you finally managed to turn it on, all it displayed was the menu of Grumpy's Tacos. So use Progressive's Auto Quote Explorer and be confident you're getting insurance that's right for you. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates. Not available in all states or situations. Prices vary based on how you buy.
Breaking news, and this one is almost...
You're listening to The Sports Bash with Mike Gill on 97.3 ESPN and the free mobile app.
All right, before we get back to Dan and EHC and other texts coming in at 609-403-0973, your DMs into the 97.3 ESPN mobile app powered by First Bank of Seattle. So here's my conspiracy theory. So if you were watching opening night media last night, right? You saw the players getting paraded up there, talking to the media, blah, blah, blah. Brandon Graham was on the dais, as you heard Rob Maaddi mention. And Rob brought up the point that, a player is not going to be put up there if they're not going to play on Sunday. Well, Brandon Graham said last night, I'm going to play on Sunday. To which he got a follow-up question, which said, wait a minute, you got cleared? You're playing on Sunday? He said, oh, no. I'm saying if I play on Sunday. I cannot find the audio or video of him saying that on NFL.com, Eagles.com, Twitter, YouTube, Instagram. I'm on TikTok, so I wouldn't know. But can't find this video anywhere. I can only find transcripts of him saying it. Why is the whole world covering up for Brandon Graham again? This is not the first time he has spoken out of turn. This is the first time that he has said something and regretted it later. Said, I need to correct myself. Remember A.J. Brown and Jalen Hurts and their relationship? Remember that drama? Why are we covering up for a guy being honest? Who cares if he hasn't been officially cleared yet? I said it today. I said it last week. 12 years ago, Ray Lewis tore his triceps tendon. Same injury, same brace, same surgery, same timetable. And he re-tore it the night before the Ravens beat the 49ers in the Super Bowl. And I'm pretty sure, trying to remember, wasn't Ray Lewis more important to that Ravens team than BG is? Oh, right, to this Eagles team. So why is the whole world covering up for Brandon Graham making a mistake again? Why can't we just get over the fact that the guy is just too honest for his own good? Who cares? Let the audio be out there. Let the video be out there. Why are we hiding it? That's my conspiracy theory. I think everyone has gotten together to cover up for Brandon Graham making a mistake. Because remember, when he made the mistake about Jalen Hurts, and remember he said, oh, Jalen Hurts and A.J. Brown, their relationship is strained, and A.J. Brown needs to understand is one is doing his best and all this stuff. That audio suddenly disappeared about 48 hours later, too. All of a sudden, the radio station that was on, the Twitter platforms that video was on, it all disappeared all of a sudden. I mean, I'm not trying to say Big Dom is the mob or something, but I mean, how much influence does Big Dom have that stuff is disappearing like this? Or who is Brandon Graham paying off? Or who is the Eagles paying off? I don't know. It's a little convenient, that's all I'm saying. It's a little convenient that the guy now is messed up twice. And all of a sudden, can't find it. It's like it didn't even happen. You guys let me know. Do you agree or disagree with my conspiracy theory? 609-403-0973. We talked about Sixers earlier in the show. Dan and EHT chimed in and says the Sixers' problem is they have no realistic way of becoming better than the Knicks or the Celtics. They have to blow it up and do it like OKC. Well, the problem with OKC is that OKC did it by collecting about a gazillion draft picks, and then they rebuilt. So you can't do it like OKC. Yes, if you hit the reset button, is it possible? Sure. I think it's more likely if you just rebuild around Maxey and McCain. That's probably a more likely scenario to get better, because the bigger problem is that when your former league MVP is never on the court, you have no chance of being on the same level as the Knicks or the Celtics or the Bucks or whoever you want to throw out there. You want to throw the Cavs out there? The Cavs are really good as well. Frankly, if I'm the Sixers, the conversation needs to be much deeper, by the way, than just the roster. Because we need to have a conversation about who's building the roster in Philadelphia. Well, we have no questions about who's building the Eagles roster. Howie Roseman, 3 Super Bowl appearances in less than 10 years. We'll get Geoff Mosher's perspective on that coming up next. The Philadelphia Eagles consistently contending. What does that say about the Eagles and the NFL? Football at 4 next on 97.3 ESPN.
Super Bowl 59 is on Westwood 1.
The Philadelphia Eagles are headed to New Orleans.
Now the Chiefs are on the doorstep of history, going for a 3rd consecutive Super Bowl.
Hi, everybody. I'm Scott Graham. Join Kevin Harlan, Kurt Warner, Laura Oakman, Gene Steratore, Devin McCourty, and me for all the action right here.
Exclusively on 97.3 ESPN, South Jersey's home of Super Bowl 59.
Lowe's knows that your deadlines don't change, even when your job does. But with Lowe's Buy Online, Pick Up in Store, we'll help you adjust on the fly. And when you absolutely can't leave the project, we can deliver to your job site as soon as same day. Lowe's knows pros. We help, you save. Valid on eligible in-stock orders and select zip codes placed by 2 p.m. for same-day delivery by 8 p.m. Subject to driver availability. Fees vary based on purchase. More terms apply. See Lowe's.com/same-day delivery for details.
Now Taxes is using Credit Karma, where a TurboTax expert can do your taxes for you. They'll get your refund so you can do more with it right in Credit Karma. Now this is taxes. Intuit Credit Karma with TurboTax. See guaranteed details at turbotax.com/guarantees. Experts only available with TurboTax Live.
There she is, founder and CEO. High five.
Dave can't stop celebrating with every business owner in town.
All right, Baker Man, high five.
He's sharing the excitement of big savings with the Comcast Business 5-year price lock guarantee.
Ooh, up top, Bike Shop. Yeah.
It's 5 years of gig speed internet.
Quick, high five.
5 years of advanced security.
5 years.
And 5 years of a great rate that won't change.
Yeah, law partners. Chamberlain, Messelthorpe, Dubois.
All from the company with 99.9% network reliability. Switch today and get the 5-year price lock guarantee.
5 years.
It's back, but only for a limited time.
Woo!
Powering 5 years of savings, powering possibilities. Comcast Business.
Can't forget you, voiceover guy.
Ah, thanks, Dave.
High five.
Ends 3/9/25. Guaranteed rate applies to monthly service charge for new customers on qualifying internet bundle, excluding taxes and fees. Other restrictions apply.
ZipRecruiter is the place. ZipRecruiter is the place for talented teachers, savvy software developers, and master mixologists. ZipRecruiter is the place where you meet all these people and more. That's because ZipRecruiter is the place for job seekers who are looking for new opportunities. In fact, ZipRecruiter helps 10 million people with their job search every day, so you can find the right candidates right away. Try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
Winter is here. Are you prepared? Don't get left in the dark. Kelvy Electric, a certified Generac dealer, has you covered. From installation to maintenance, they're your go-to experts for Generac generators, ensuring your home stays powered through any storm. A Generac home standby generator will automatically restore power to your home during an outage, so your life goes on uninterrupted. Put your trust in Kelvy Electric, the premier electrical contractor, serving South Jersey for over 110 years. Visit KelvyElectric.com today and stay ahead of any storm.
For your big game party, you better pop into Total Wine and More for a guaranteed win. We've got dozens of bottles down every aisle, and prices so low they're gonna make you smile.
Drink responsibly, B21.
Okay, I have to tell you, I was just looking on eBay where I go for all kinds of things I love, and there it was.
That hologram trading card. One of the rarest, the last one I needed for my set. Shiny like the
designer handbag of my dreams. One of a kind. eBay had it, and now everyone's asking, ooh, where'd you get your
windshield wipers? eBay has all the parts that fit my car. No more annoying, just beautiful.
Whatever you love, find it on eBay. eBay, things people love.
Progressive presents a testimonial of sorts.
Hey, slow down!
Oh yeah? Well, you drive like my grandma. She's a very attentive and courteous driver who wears a seatbelt and always uses her turn signals. She's also a talented painter and has very low cholesterol. Not that that has anything to do with her drive. We just thought a more complete picture of who she is might be interesting. Anyway, have a nice day.
Safe driver? Get Snapshot from Progressive and get a personalized rate based on how you drive. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates. Snapshot not available in California or from all agents. Surcharge possible for unsafe driving.
This is a story of the one. As a maintenance specialist for university housing, he knows college students can major in wear and tear. Plus, housing so many students doesn't leave a lot of room to house all the supplies he needs. That's where Grainger comes in. With over 1 million industrial-grade products and fast, dependable delivery, Grainger carries the quality products he needs so he doesn't have to. From a new door hinge to a whole new faucet. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Save thousands at Matt Blatt Kia. Get out of your old trade today, even if you owe thousands more than it's worth. Go to MattBlattKiaNJ.com for more details. That's MattBlattKiaNJ.com.
It's gotta be a
Matt Blatt Kia,
home of the Philadelphia Eagles.
They've got him! It's a sack!
Sixers.
Oh, baby!
And Flyers.
He scored!
97.3 ESPN, WENJ, WENJ HD, Millville, Atlantic City, a Town Square media station serving all of South Jersey. 97.3 ESPN presents The Sports Bash with Mike Gill. It's time for Football at 4, powered by the Inside the Birds podcast.
Just hungry to bring back another Lombardi to Philly. The fans deserve it. Our team deserves it. Culture begs for it.
Now live, this is Football at 4.
Nick has done a phenomenal job, just as we expected when we hired him. You know, incredible leader, attention to detail, love of football, incredibly passionate, able to connect with everyone in the organization, the players, his coaches.
That was owner Jeffrey Lurie last night at the opening media night. Nick Sirianni. A lot of compliments about the job he has done for the man who hired him. But it's interesting, as Geoff Mosher from Football at 4 from the Inside the Birds podcast, InsideTheBirds.com, joins us. You know, this organization has now gotten to 3 Super Bowls in less than 10 years with 2 different head coaches. How much of it is the top-down philosophy? Geoff Mosher, welcome in. How you doing today?
Great, Josh. It is a beautiful day in New Orleans. A little bit overcast, so that anybody who's jealous of people, anybody back home jealous. It's not exactly, a pristine New Orleans day. It's a little humid, but the town is buzzing, Josh. There are so many people here. It's a great city to host this kind of event, and a lot of good vibes. This is a good vibes moment right now for a lot of people in here. And I think that's because, to get to the point you were just bringing up, the more I talk to people here, I'm running into people left and right, from different teams from around the league. And there's just a genuine excitement about 2 organizations facing each other that have been building up to this moment, right? I mean, the Chiefs are always, obviously in this game for a lot,
They played the Eagles 2 years ago. The Eagles were thinking they'd be back last year. Had a collapse. Looked like they were on their way at 10-1. Then they had a collapse. Then they rebuilt what they needed to rebuild, and now they're both back in this game. And I think people generally get excited about these type of Super Bowls where you see rematches or the same teams going against each other, and the fact that this is not sort of neither of these teams are fluke teams. Sometimes you wind up. I don't want to call the Tampa Bay a couple of years ago fluke, but obviously Tom Brady just went there and things came together, and then that was it for, Tampa Bay in the Super Bowl. But there is some real genuine excitement because, to your point, these teams are built very similarly, and the coach matters. Of course, Andy Reid matters, and Nick Sirianni has done a great job, but it's really about the core philosophies that both teams have of how to build a Super Bowl contender. Yes, you want a franchise quarterback. That's obvious. Every team has gotten that. But I do think the Chiefs and the Eagles do such a great job of paying attention to how to win in the trenches better than other teams. And when we talk about this game, when you take the quarterbacks out of it, you're really talking about the trenches and who's going to win those matchups.
Well, you mentioned the trenches. The trenches were built by the guys in the front office, right? So, I think one of the biggest blessings in disguise for the Eagles, Geoff, is the fact that if this game was played last Sunday, I don't know how Dickerson and Juergens would have been. Whereas now you've got all this extra time for both those guys to recover. Dickerson was cracking jokes last night. Juergens says he's good to go. I got to think that this time off has benefited the Eagles' O-line a lot.
You would think so. Some injuries, obviously time helps. Some time just, you need more than time. You might need a postseason, surgery or just a postseason rehab schedule. Like, for example, Cam Juergens, yes, the time helps. But when you have a back injury and you're an offensive lineman, usually in that case, you're devoting some rehab time, maybe strengthening the muscles in the back. And so we'll see what happens with him there. But of course, obviously, if there wasn't a game in between the conference championship and the Super Bowl, you'd be really concerned about how Landon Dickerson and Cam Juergens would be playing. They'd play because they're just going to play, but you'd be concerned about how effective they could be. And we still will on Sunday, but at least it's with more time.
Right, it's with more time. And, Jeffrey Lurie kind of had a little bit of a moment there in the comment where he said that Sirianni is doing what we expected him to do, Rob. And I thought that was an interesting little thing that the owner of the Eagles slid in there, because there's a lot of Eagle fans, as you know, Geoff, host of the Inside the Birds podcast. You've seen them on social media. They hated Sirianni when he was hired. People have still hated him to this day. And it's like, it's almost like a Charlie Manuel aspect. It's the idea that, like, hey, he's not good until he wins the championship. But the owner is saying, what we are getting from Sirianni is what we expected from him.
Yes, and they did. I think ownership is very well aware that while Nick Sirianni has some really important traits that they saw in him when they hired him, the connectivity that we talk about, they're also well aware that they've handed him really good 53-man rosters ever since he took over. Maybe not year one, but at least even in year one, he was handed good trenches, and that's a great foundation. It's a great building block. It's kind of why Doug Peterson was able to take over from the, I don't want to say the disaster of Chip Kelly. We tend to call it a disaster, but it's not like the Eagles were a 3-win team under Chip Kelly. They just weren't as competitive as they were hoping. But when Doug Peterson took over, they needed a quarterback. They got Carson Wentz. But the reason why Carson was able to play so well by year two was look at the offensive line that they put in front of him. And then look at the defensive line on the other side, guys like BG, Chris Long, Fletcher Cox, Timmy Jernigan, right? That they got from Baltimore and some other guys. So it's always, ownership is aware that they've given Nick Sirianni what they deem to be the foundation and the blueprint for success. And they put it in his hands and said, now make it successful. And he has, and to his credit, Josh, it's really hard. It's hard not to get tripped up every once in a while and lose to, teams that aren't better than you. And the Eagles will do that every once in a while. So, that happens. But for the most part, it's hard to argue with the results.
Geoff, when you talk about the results, obviously part of the results 2 years ago wasn't just the loss, it was how they lost, right? It was the optics of the fact that you had a lead and then you let it go. So for you, how big of a difference will or can the team now constructed, because you didn't have Saquon 2 years ago. It was Jonathan Gannon, not Vic Fangio 2 years ago. It was Kelsey at center. I know Travis made the joke last night. They don't have that skinny center out there anymore. He made the joke about. But, it is a different offensive line in terms of construction. So how are the differences from 2 years ago? Will they truly benefit Philadelphia this time round?
Ooh, that's a tough question to answer. So what you're asking me, how is the offensive line for the Eagles this year?
Well, all the differences, the offensive line, Fangio, Saquon, like you have all of these variables. Like it's not like a literal, like I remember in the 90s, and you remember too, when the Bills and Cowboys faced each other back-to-back years, those were literal rematches. Like those were teams that were almost, the virtually identical, right? This is not a virtual identical Eagles team.
No, and so, that's a good point that you brought up, and I've had this discussion with a lot of people down here in New Orleans. It's a little, I think it's almost like some people look at it like the Eagles are a way better team than 2 years ago because they have Saquon Barkley and the number one defense, whereas the Chiefs are the same. But the Chiefs are not the same. I mean, the two guys who scored touchdowns in the second half for the Chiefs 2 years ago were Kadarius Toney and Sky Moore, right? No, those guys are not. I mean, they're not even on the team. So if Sky Moore is, he doesn't play. I forget. So the Chiefs are a little bit more, I would say, multi-dimensional than they were 2 years ago. And even though they're not an explosive play team, they definitely have more, I would say, better form of playmakers. DeAndre Hopkins may not be what he was 5 years ago, but he can still make plays. And Xavier Worthy, the rookie, has more speed than anybody had on that team from 2 years ago. And even though they haven't really figured out a way to unlock him as a deep threat and probably aren't going to do that against Vic Fangio's defense either, they still now find ways to get the ball in his hands. And so you still have Travis Kelce, but those two guys alone give them a difference. And then Hollywood Brown, Josh, is sort of like an X factor, right? I mean, he missed almost the whole year. We know he's a good receiver. We know when you had him with Lamar Jackson, he was 1,000-yard receiver. We know he can stretch the defense on multiple levels. And he's just like we talk about the 2 weeks and what is that doing for Juergens and what is that doing for Landon Dickerson? Well, that's 2 more weeks that Hollywood Brown has gotten since missing like 80% of the year to really get ingratiated into the offense and make a difference. So it's not the same Chiefs offense from 2 years ago, but certainly the Eagles, you would say, are the team that looks a little bit more different drastically, especially on defense and with their running game than when they met 2 years ago. And that's going to be really kind of the talk of this matchup. I think the fascinating part of the matchup is the Eagles under Vic Fangio have been so good at making you not make a mistake as you work the ball down the field. And, in the playoffs, teams have made way too many mistakes. The Rams, the Commanders, and the Packers. What are they combined for 9 turnovers, I believe?
9, yeah.
Yeah, I think we would all be very, very surprised if the Chiefs had 3 turnovers or 2 turnovers in this game. They don't turn the ball over, and Mahomes gets rid of the ball in about 2.67 seconds. So that's the cat and mouse, Josh, is like your strength, good versus good, strength versus strength. How does that manifest on Sunday?
On the Inside the Birds podcast, of course, Inside the Birds on YouTube as well, Geoff, you guys were talking with Clay Harbor earlier this week, and I thought it was interesting because he kept bringing up the Jalen Carter, Nolan Smith, the matchup of the Eagles pass rush against a Chiefs offensive line that, shall we say, is not the best that they have had in the Patrick Mahomes era. And I thought it was interesting because Clay, he must have brought up Jalen Carter 3 times on the pod talking with you and Adam. And I couldn't get out of my head that this is a guy who played in the league who keeps saying, I'm telling you, this Jalen Carter matchup is going to be a problem for Kansas City.
Yeah, I mean, I haven't even been here yet in New Orleans for 24 hours, and people can't stop talking about Jalen Carter, and deservedly so. He is a game wrecker. He has wrecked and saved games for the Eagles throughout the playoffs. I will say, I think Chris Jones has sort of become one of the most underrated and under-discussed superstars in the league, and it certainly feels like that's following suit here in New Orleans, because that guy, maybe Jalen Carter is playing on a higher level right now but that guy has put a nice Hall of Fame career together, and he really is one of the best players in the league. But there's no doubt when you talk about a matchup standpoint, the Eagles will feel pretty comfortable that, yeah, they know that Chris Jones is going to make plays, but they're gonna be able to put, Dickerson if he's healthy, or Becton, like they feel comfortable that they'll be able to. He's not going to completely wreck the game. Whereas if you look on the other side, now Trey Smith, the Chiefs line is bad in spots, right? But it's also elite in spots. And where they are elite are center and right guard, even better than the Eagles. Creed Humphrey is the best center in the league. If not, he's second, right? And Trey Smith is probably going to be the highest paid right guard in the league next year when he gets his contract. So the question that we've all talked about is, do the Chiefs feel that they can leave Trey Smith alone on Jalen Carter and then use Humphrey to double team Milton Williams with Mike Caliendo, who is clearly the weak link in the line as he's sort of filling in at left guard while Joe Thuney kicks out to left tackle. And then to your point, Josh, you do have to kind of wonder how can Joe Thuney, who's a very, very, very good left guard, hold up at left tackle as he continues to have to play there because the Chiefs are out of options. And, if you're the Chiefs, man, you're sort of kicking yourselves a little bit for just not having a little more depth of tackle, because if Thuney's at left guard and Creed Humphreys at center and Trey Smith's at right guard, man, you almost feel like the way the Eagles feel about their ability to move the ball on the inside. That there might not be a better, left, center, right than interior O-line than that. But that's not what they have right now.
Also, you mentioned Juwan Taylor. He is to the Chiefs what Derek Barnett used to be of the Eagles, which is why is it always him committing the penalties, right? So, yeah. I mean, I could totally see a scenario where Sweat or Smith are up against him, and he just starts grabbing them by the jersey and pulling them to the ground, and Andy's just got to look on his face like, him again?
Yeah. No, this is an interesting matchup because the Eagles really don't switch sides a whole lot, right? And he's the right tackle, Juwan Taylor. So that means most likely for the majority of his reps, he's going to see Nolan Smith. Okay. Now, Nolan's really improved. Juwan Taylor is adequate, right? He commits a lot of penalties. He's not exactly the best right tackle in the world. But one thing he is, Josh, is he's really big. I know, even for our tackle. He's 6'6", 312, 35-inch arms. And so I wonder how Nolan's going to fare against that. It's tough to get good speed to power against a big guy like that, and a long arm guy who can probably, ride you around the edge a little bit. This will be a really interesting game for Nolan Smith. If he can get some really good pressure against Juwan Taylor, you're going to feel really, really good about the Eagles' chance of winning.
Well, the reason why I brought up who it might be is because I was listening to on the Inside the Birch platform the Gun on One interview with Ray Dittinger. And Dittinger brought up the fact he said that he thinks that Fangio has to bring something that he hasn't shown this year before into this game, that there has to be something up his sleeve that's going to make Mahomes think a little more than he wants to. And I don't know what that might be. Is that flipping guys on sides? Is it, maybe, you put Jalen Carter on the edge a couple times to get a little silly with it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I can't see that happening. I think of all the coordinators and coaches in this game, Vic is going to be the one who least deviates from what Vic does, because by its nature, his defense is simplistic in operation and design. I mean, it's meant to confuse you. There is post-snap movement, but not like when you watch Steve Spagnuolo, he's going to show like 6 guys at the line of scrimmage, 3 guys are going to drop, 2 guys who weren't going to even rush are going to come, and like you have no idea what's going on. Everybody talks about the Josh Allen play, but that's like what Steve Spagnuolo does 7 or 8 times a game. Vic doesn't do that. But the Eagles have been a very good stunting team all year long. So I do think, yes, ways to get the front 4 rush one-on-ones or to get protection breakdowns is to stunt them and twist them, but that's on tape. That's not going to be something that the Chiefs are going to say, oh man, didn't see that one coming. That's something that the Eagles do that's effective. I do think, Josh, if we're along the lines of your question, I've thought like if the Chiefs are going to try to double team Milton Williams and leave Trey Smith on Jalen Carter, maybe one thing Vic can do is just throw a few more 5-man rushes just to make the Chiefs offensive line have to go 5 out in protection and lose that double team. And then you get a winnable situation with Milton Williams on Caliendo. But I say that, but there's also things the offense can do to combat that as far as keeping guys in, chipping, blocking. So yeah, you might get a one-on-one, but it may not be a one-on-one after the ball is snapped.
Talking with Geoff Mosher from the Inside the Birds podcast, InsideTheBirds.com, Inside the Birds on YouTube. Don't forget all the extra insights from the Inside the Birds Patreon feed as well at Geoff P. Mosher on the Twitter X platform. Sticking with the Eagles defense for a moment, because you mentioned how, I mean, what are they, the 4th fewest blitzes are the Eagles during the regular season, but they have gotten pressure as the season is going on. I thought Fangio made an interesting comment last night to the media, Geoff, where he said, the defense has gotten better every week. He says, we are better today than we were weeks 1 through 4. And I thought that was an interesting comment, because I think Fangio is almost saying, maybe not literally, but like, whatever you saw in September, just throw it out and realize that I'm not coaching that team anymore. This is a different team now. Because I kept mentioning multiple times, Geoff, these aren't rookies anymore. We're in game 21. Like, Fangio views the team today different than he did months ago.
Well, you have to. I mean, first of all, for the first 4 weeks, there was a combination of just some guys who were really good playing poorly, especially on the defensive line. And then there was a combination of guys in the back end who just aren't that talented. And I'm not trying to pick on Avonte Maddox, but he was clearly a liability. And 2 teams exploited the heck out of it, including Tampa Bay going into the bye. So obviously the defense changed a great deal when Cooper DeJean took over as the nickelback, and he has been phenomenal. And to your sort of also answer the last question you asked, if you remember, DeJean's first start came against the Browns. All of a sudden, he was blitzing from the nickel. And I was like, whoa, we haven't seen that in a while. And then I was sort of excited about that kind of blitz package for Fangio. Then it never I don't want to say it never happened again, but it wasn't like that was going to – it happened 4 or 5 times against the Browns, and then you didn't see it more than like once or twice in a game since then. But you did see Zach Bond. Then like the week after, he was the blitzer on the sim pressure, right? And then as the season went on, yes, Vic changed things, and then you started to see Zach Bond then against teams that want to run out of a like 11 personnel, like they want to spread you out but run. Then you would see Bond go from stack to edge, and they would create like a 5-1 look. So yeah, Vic has done things differently to A, adjust to the opponent, but B, to also show different looks. And now maybe it's Oren Burks on Sunday. To your point, what does he do different? Maybe Burks is the guy who's going to be the 5th man in a 5-man rush, as opposed to DeJean, or as opposed to Bond, or maybe for the first time all year he blitzes a safety, which he almost never does, or a nickel or an outside corner, which he almost never does. But just 1 or 2, just to say, hey, I'm going to give you something you haven't seen before. Maybe that's what he does.
Geoff, before I let you go, I want to ask you, and I'm not asking this to be cynical, but I do think it's a conversation we haven't talked about much in the last couple of days, is that the Eagles had Brent Selleck at practice simulating Travis Kelce. And listen, we all love Selleck. He helped you win a Super Bowl in Philadelphia, but he ain't no Travis Kelce, right? So, like, how much does that simulation, do you think, really help? Or do you think that's just the Eagles just trying to do, it almost reminds me of, remember back in the day, people would bring in quarterbacks to simulate Michael Vick with the Falcons. And it's like, yeah, but he ain't Michael Vick, so it's like, I'm not saying it's apples to apples, but I'm just wondering, how much do you think that actually is going to matter in the long run?
Yeah, not much, if we're being honest. And I think even if you were being cynical, it's fair to be cynical on that, because you're right. I mean, it's not the same player. And Selleck's great, but it's not like Selleck was himself a Hall of Fame tight end. I think it makes sense from an Eagles standpoint because of where they're at with the tight end position. Obviously, you're not throwing Dallas Goedert on the old look scout team, right? So, and Uzama has been coming back from an injury, and
Geoff froze there for a minute, so we'll try to recalibrate with him. I'm pretty sure he's in a hotel room, so a lot of times if you're in those rooms, that Wi-Fi, that internet can jam up on you. Oh, there he is. He's back. He's unfrozen.
Sorry about that.
Geoff, you got me?
Yeah, I gotcha. It's weird. You never froze up on me, but I apologize. My Wi-Fi has been pretty good so far.
Well, I was saying, those hotels, every once in a while, there's that moment. It's always the worst possible time.
Exactly. So where did I get cut off?
You got cut off because you were talking about how Selleck himself was not a Hall of Fame tight end. He was a good player, but not a great like a Travis Kelce.
Right. And then I was just adding to that. I like the idea of it, though, because the Eagles really, they're hurting right now at backup tight end in both, experience and bodies. Uzama, coming back from the injury, and EJ Jenkins hasn't played a whole lot of tight end in this league. And, I know they signed, trying to think, there was one other guy they had, Calcaterra. But again, Calcaterra is not going to be a scout team guy. I mean, he's part of the 12 personnel package that they're running out. So It makes sense to just get some extra reps with a guy like Selleck, who is more than willing to help out. And I don't know if people know this, but Selleck helps the organization out also with scouting. He goes to the combine a lot, scouts the tight ends, does interviews with them. So he's been a quiet guy behind the scenes for the organization. So that it can't hurt them. So I understand. I'm not trying to be cynical myself either. It's not a bad idea. I don't know in the grand scheme of things that you think like, oh, they're now going to shut down Travis Kelce. It's just really to give a look.
Geoff Mosher, Inside the Birds podcast, InsideTheBirds.com, Inside the Birds on YouTube, and of course the Patreon feed. Geoff, before I let you go, just give the folks a real quick plug of what you guys got going on the rest of the week with ITB.
Oh, I mean, yeah, we're going to be down here. Obviously, we partnered with you guys, and so Mike Gill and myself, and I'm sure Kaplan at certain times will be co-hosting, the Sports Bash and doing a lot of interviews on Radio Row. So look forward to that. And then also, Josh, a couple of things. We have an analytics reporter named Sam Finkel, does an awesome job. And we recorded a 2-part podcast series, really analyzing the game from an analytics standpoint. So part 1 will be up on the pod and YouTube platform. In fact, it might be up right now. I can't even remember tonight. And then part 2 will be up pretty soon, in the next coming days as well. And then also tonight, Adam and I are doing, we partner with a group called Show Me TV, and we're doing sort of a Q&A session with our listeners. So go to @JeoffPMosher on Twitter, and you'll see the link for it. You can find it. You can watch our hour-long preview, and then you'll be able to call in and have your question answered by us, and be very, very interactive. So it'll be a real fun time.
Great stuff, Geoff. Appreciate you jumping on today.
All right, Josh. Thanks, man. Have a good one.
Absolutely. Of course, Football at 4, powered by the Inside the Birds. Inside the Birds podcast, brought to you by Bet365. Whatever the sport, whatever the moment, it's never ordinary at Bet365. Coming up on the other side, you will hear from the voice. Scott Graham will join us from Westwood One Sports. Of course, covers the Eagles for a long time, calling the Eagles preseason games. He joins us next on 97.3 ESPN FM and the 97.3 ESPN mobile app, powered by First Bank of Seattle. Josh Hennig filling in for Mike Gill on a Tuesday.
It's the Sports Bash with Mike Gill.
Do I have everybody's attention now?
On 97.3 ESPN and the 97.3 ESPN free mobile app.
The home team is making the trip to the big game, which means you've got to make the trip to the Pick. The Pick-A-Lily Inn does game day catering better than anyone, with ready-to-go pick packs your guests will cheer for. Get 30 tails or ears for just $59 in delicious hot and honey, smoker, honey barbecue, garlic parm, Jim Beam maple, or their award-winning buffalo and mild, spicy or hot. Schedule pickup before game day and follow simple heat and eat instructions. The Pick-A-Lily Inn, Route 206, Shamong. Follow the Pick on Facebook for game day specials, or visit pickaalily.com and order now.
I've just been feeling so sluggish lately. You should try the Metamucil 2-week challenge. The Metamucil 2-week challenge? Yeah, Metamucil 4-in-1 fiber helps trap and start your daily routine now, and in 2 weeks, you could be feeling great. Well, it's been 2 weeks. How you feeling? Lighter and feeling great.
If you want to feel lighter by promoting digestive health, sign up to take the 2-week challenge at Metamucil.com. These statements have not been evaluated by the Food and Drug Administration. This product is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease.
Why would someone looking for a mortgage at the Jersey Shore take a loan from a company in Detroit or North Carolina or some other far-off place? Online mortgages promise a lot but don't always deliver. First Bank of Sea Isle City knows the Jersey Shore. We are local lenders. We use local appraisers and provide in-house processing. We understand the unique obstacles of financing in Cape May County. Don't take a chance. Local banking is better. Let us guide you. First Bank of Sea Isle City.
Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender. This is the Town Square, New Jersey Info and Weather Network.
Progressive Insurance presents the Sports Flash on 97.3 ESPN. NHL, the Flyers in Salt Lake City tonight as they take on the Utah Hockey Club. Philadelphia looking to snap a 3-game losing skid. They have been shut out in all 3 losses. They lost to the Colorado Avalanche in Denver 2-0, blanked on 24 shots Sunday. Tonight's game will wrap up the 2-game trip, and they return home Thursday to face the Washington Capitals. NBA, the Sixers back in action tonight, hosting the Dallas Mavericks. Philadelphia has lost back-to-back games after falling Sunday to the Boston Celtics, where they blew a 17-point lead at halftime. The Mavericks traded Luka Doncic to the Lakers over the weekend and are coming off a 43-point loss to Cleveland on Sunday. The Eagles and the Chiefs met the media on Monday night in preparation for Sunday's Super Bowl. Philadelphia looking for their 2nd championship in franchise history. Progressive Insurance, bundle auto and home, renters or condo, and save with Progressive. I'm Tony Desiri, and that's your Sports Flash on 97.3 ESPN.
Taxes was not knowing your full financial picture. Now Taxes is getting and maximizing your refund all in one place. Credit Karma, where a TurboTax expert can do your taxes for you. They'll get you the most money back, guaranteed. Then you can do more with all that money, all in Credit Karma. Now this is Taxes. Intuit Credit Karma with TurboTax. Get started today. See guarantee details at turbotax.com/guarantees. Experts only available with TurboTax Live.
From the Town Square, New Jersey Info and Weather Network, I'm Chief Meteorologist Dan Zarrow. Our next storm system arrives a little more than 24 hours from now, tomorrow night. And it looks like a wintry wet nest. Sloppy roads possible Thursday morning due to snowy, icy, slushy conditions. Increasing clouds tonight and cold temperatures, low at 24. Cloudy tomorrow, high 35. Could be a snow shower at some point. Widespread snow to icy mix to rain tomorrow night through about midday on Thursday. Get weather 24/7 wherever you are. Download our free mobile app today.
I'm Merrill Reese from Mike's Seafood Polar Bear Run Walk for Autism in Sea Isle City. The Mike's Seafood Run Walk for Autism has been promoting awareness and raising funds for special service schools and families of special needs children. Come join over 5,000 participants in the 5K race and the Family Fun Walk, followed by a great after party. Join us in huge heated tents where there will be great food, unbelievable door prizes, and the awards ceremony. The party is not just for the runners and walkers, it's for the entire family. They'll have clowns, superheroes, and face painters for the kids. For more information or to register, go to polarbearrunwalkforautism.com. That's polarbearrunwalkforautism.com.
Mike's Seafood Run Walk for Autism is Saturday, February 15th at JFK and the Boardwalk in Sea Isle City. Registration is from 9:30 to 11:30. Run Walk starts at noon. That's Saturday, February 15th at JFK and the Boardwalk in Sea Isle City. Any day you could do something for children with disabilities, it's a good day.
Wake up weekday mornings from 6 to 10 a.m. with Unsportsmanlike on 97.3 ESPN with Evan Cohen, Super Bowl champion Chris Canty, and Michelle Small.
Can't wake up without it.
Brought to you by the Gallery Bar Book and Games at Ocean Casino Resort in Atlantic City. You're listening to the Sports Bash with Mike Gill.
When I'm driving, I got a guy on the radio who talks to me. I can't see him, but he talks to me.
On 97.3 ESPN.
Josh Hennig, affiliate for Mike Gill here on the Sports Bash, 97.3 ESPN FM, the 97.3 ESPN mobile app powered by First Bank of Sea Isle. Of course, don't forget our Eagles conversation throughout the day is being brought to you by the Piccalilli Inn. It's not just another game, so don't just order any old wings. Order the original Piccalilli Inn in Chemung, New Jersey. Follow them on Facebook for pick packs for all of your football favorites, starting at $59. Speaking of wings, we are hoping to connect with Nick Earnshaw about an hour from now. Now, I have visual evidence that Nick and Mike Gill are in New Orleans. You ask, how do I have visual evidence? Because if you go to 97.3 ESPN on Twitter, you will see Mike Gill and Nick Earnshaw have landed in New Orleans. Now, there's two variables that go into all of this for those who don't remember how this works. Because Mike Gill has been doing this Radio Row thing for years now. Number one, They are not in the same time zone as we are. It's always a problem. In fact, if I think about it correctly, this is now the third time the Eagles are in the Super Bowl. It's also the third time the Eagles are playing a Super Bowl in a time zone that is not the same as the East Coast. Because they were in Minnesota in 2018. They were in Arizona in 2023. And now 2025, they're in New Orleans. So, yeah, 3 different time zones, 3 different times. So, one to keep in mind. So, they're telling me that they are coming on at 5:30 Eastern today. But I am not guaranteeing that they have adjusted to the fact that they're in Central Time. Number one. Number two, which is the other part of this chaos. I am sure Mike Gill, as he does every year, is going to have a really funny story about the process of getting their credentials. My favorite story over the years was back in 2018 when Mike Gill had to help Jason Avant get into the media credential area. And Mike Gill told Jason Avant, "Who am I to get you credentials? You're the former player." But they found a way and they got it done. I always wonder, how does that process go? How does the conversation go? You're at Radio Row. You're at the Super Bowl. And you have a former player asking you for help getting their credentials. I mean, I can't even imagine the the stuff, I'll call it, that's running through Mike Gill's head in a scenario like that. So I'm sure they're going to have some good stories Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Mike Gill and the team with the Sports Bash live at Radio Row. We're open to connect with Scott Graham in just a bit from Westwood One Sports here on 97.3 ESPN. You know, one of the interesting things about this game on Sunday, as we are counting down the days, is there was a comment that was made by Saquon Barkley about attacking the Chiefs defense that I thought was very interesting. This was last night at opening media. Saquon Barkley talked about the Eagles' plan of attack for the Chiefs defense, and I want you to listen to how he verbalizes this.
Right now, you're watching film on them and, try to get an understanding of how they're going to attack you in their scheme, and which is, super hard. They're a great defense. It's not a mistake that they're in this game. I don't think they let a 100-yard rusher all year besides Lamar. So we know it's going to be a tough challenge, but, a challenge that, we're ready to go against.
He brought up this stat that was brought up by Rob Maaddi an hour ago. The idea that they haven't allowed an individual running back to rush for 100 yards. Now, teams as totals have rushed for 147, 200, 148, but not an individual. And I think it's interesting that I don't think Saquon says anything by accident. Saquon is not a flippant individual. I don't think he's somebody who put that out there just because. I think he put that out there because I think he is well aware and he is well knowing that there is going to be a perception going into this game that they are going to be able to stop him in the Eagles' offense. I think that was Saquon's way of putting it out there to say, we know that they think they can stop us. But let's be realistic. The Texans and the Bills, they don't have the Eagles' offensive line. No offense to the Bills, but the Bills don't have 4 guys who combine for about 1,700 pounds on the offensive line. I think the Eagles are going to be able to run on the Chiefs, but not just because of the offensive line. I think that the problem when you go up against teams like the Texans and the Bills is that they are both honed by superheroes. Josh Allen, who should be the league MVP, in my opinion. I said that multiple times here on 97.3 ESPN. Josh Hennig filling in for Mike Gill on a Tuesday. Josh Allen, if he didn't put on Superman's cape, they would have never got to the AFC Championship game. But they still could run the ball with James Cook. It wasn't like he was a bum. But James Cook and Josh Allen are two different human beings, basically. James Cook is not Saquon Barkley, and the Eagles are not built around their quarterback alone. You could argue going into the playoffs that Jalen Hurts might have been the worst of the Final Four quarterbacks in the championship Sunday. The Eagles are here because of their defense and their run game. They are not here because of their quarterback. And I think that is the real matchup problem for an organization like the Chiefs. You're not facing a team that is one-dimensional. You are facing a team with a variety of options to stop you. Speaking of defense, Vic Fangio's key to winning Super Bowl 59 is?
There's a lot, but we got to have a good tackling game. These guys run well after the catch. Obviously, Mahomes is elusive. Pacheco runs extremely hard. Tackling is going to be paramount.
You heard Jeff Mosher brought up about when Cooper DeJean was added to the lineup. Since Cooper DeJean joined the Eagles, Pro Football Focus rated the Eagles one of the 5 best tackling teams in all of football from week 6 until the postseason. Eagles have gotten here because they're tackling on defense. You heard Mosher bring up Hollywood Brown, Xavier Worthy, Travis Kelce. A lot of their success is, as Fangio said, after the catch, forcing the other team into a situation that does not benefit them. Those screens. How many times have you seen the Chiefs this year? They put Worthy in motion. They put Hollywood Brown in motion. They put Kelce in motion. They do handoffs. They do overlaps. They do pick plays. The Chiefs are creative at getting their guys open, which makes it even more important to be disciplined when it comes to stopping a team like the Kansas City Chiefs. Josh Hennig filling in for Mike Gill, 97.3 ESPN FM, 97.3 ESPN mobile app powered by First Bank of Seattle. Take a quick time out. We'll come back with more here on the Sports Bash, 97.3 ESPN.
Super Bowl 59 is on Westwood 1.
The Philadelphia Eagles are headed to New Orleans.
Now the Chiefs are on the doorstep of history, going for a 3rd consecutive Super Bowl.
Hi, everybody. I'm Scott Grant. Join Kevin Harlan, Kurt Warner, Laura Oakman, Gene Steratore, Devin McCourty, and me for all the action right here.
Exclusively on 97.3 ESPN, South Jersey's home of Super Bowl 59.
This is the story of the one who, as a maintenance specialist for a historic high-rise, knows that vintage charm historically needs constant attention. Which is why when it's time to upgrade turn-of-the-century mechanicals, they turn to Grainger. With easy access to 1 million-plus products and the scale to deliver when and where you need them. The right tools and supplies are never far away. So the one can keep that vintage building running like new. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
If there was an easy way for you to look fabulous right now, wouldn't you want to know about it? Well, then you're in luck, thanks to the Look Fabulous Now lift from Dr. Lyle M. Back Cosmetic Surgery Center of Cherry Hill. The Look Fabulous Now lift is an outpatient procedure that can rejuvenate, renew, restore, and refresh your face, jawline, and neck in as little as 2 hours. Patients feel renewed and refreshed, looking and feeling years younger in a natural way. Call 856-MAKEOVER or visit ilovelylback.com.
Order for Jennifer C.
Is this my double shot, double cream, double froth, double pump, double whip, double sleeve?
Yeah. Can you handle that much caffeine?
Did you know Discover automatically doubles all the cash back you've earned at the end of your first year?
Oh, really? That's great.
Seriously, did you know Discover automatically doubles all the cash back you've earned at the end of your first year?
Yeah, you just said that.
Did you say I just said that?
Yeah, I'm cutting you off.
I can't have any more? Why not?
You earn, we match. Discover Cashback Match. See terms at discover.com/creditcard.
Accomplishing goals is hard.
But when your goal is to learn a new language, Babbel makes it easy. Babbel is designed with you in mind. From expert-created lessons to conversational video units and even live classes, you can personalize your Babbel experience to be exactly what you need to really learn a new language more easily. Go ahead, set a goal for yourself. Accomplish it with Babbel. Try Babbel for free. Go to BABBEL.com. That's Babbel.com.
Xfinity here. How can we help?
Hi, my daughter invited her entire class to her birthday party. Can my Wi-Fi handle it?
Oh, well, at Xfinity, our latest gateways have tri-band Wi-Fi technology, letting you connect hundreds of devices at once.
No way. So if all the kids are watching stuff on their phones, well, their parents are sharing videos online.
Yep, go ahead and watch videos. They can all do their thing and party their way. No problem.
Oh, we are gonna need a bigger cake.
Now through March 21st, get fast, reliable 300 megabit Xfinity internet with unlimited data included and an unlimited mobile line for just $30 a month for 1 year. Visit Xfinity.com, call 1-800-XFINITY, or visit a store today. Restrictions apply. Requires paperless plan and auto pay with stored bank account. Equipment, taxes, and fees extra. After promo, regular rates apply. Xfinity internet required. Reduce mobile speeds after use of monthly data included with your data option. Data thresholds and actual internet speeds vary.
Hi, welcome to Staples. Hi, I hear Staples can print it all for my business. Oh, if you can think it, Staples can print it, and will beat any print quote. Oh, great. I'm thinking new brochures and yard signs. No problem. I'm thinking calendars, t-shirts, and pens. Totally. I'm thinking Staples is the place for printing. I thought you might think that.
Right now at Staples, get up to $250 off your print purchase. Ends 4/5 exclusions apply. Visit staples.com/print for offer details. Price match guarantee valid in store and staples.com/print. Visit staples.com/price match for details.
As a mom, comforting my family is what I do best. Vicks Vapor Stick provides soothing, non-medicated Vicks vapors in an easy-to-apply stick. And it dries fast, so there's no mess. I use it to comfort myself and my family.
Thanks, Mom.
Vicks Vapo Stick. Soothing comfort for the whole family. And when you need more comfort for yourself, try Vicks Vapo Shower Max for steamy Vicks Vapors.
Use as directed. Vapo Stick for use ages 4 and up. Vapo Shower Max use for adults only.
Progressive knows we all crave validation.
Girl, you are not 37.
I would have guessed 27.
You guys are too sweet.
Sure. Dewy skin. Terrific.
Is something wrong, Ned?
Why would you ask? Just because today marks my 10th anniversary without a car accident or even a speeding ticket? But somehow, tonight's all about your skincare.
Wow. With Snapshot from Progressive, you can get a personalized rate based on how you drive. And that's all the validation you need. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates. Snapshot not available in California or from all agents. Surcharge possible for unsafe driving.
Taxes was not knowing your full financial picture. Now Taxes is getting and maximizing your refund all in one place. Credit Karma, where a TurboTax expert can do your taxes for you. They'll get you the most money back, guaranteed. Then you can do more with all that money, all in Credit Karma. Now this is taxes. Intuit Credit Karma with TurboTax. Get started today. See guaranteed details at turbotax.com/guarantees. Experts only available with TurboTax Live.
If you or someone you know needs help getting through a difficult time, start with NJ211. When you reach out to 211, we can connect you to help with housing, utilities, food, childcare, senior services, income support, healthcare, legal issues, and more. Help is available in over 150 languages, and the service is free, confidential, and available 24/7. Need help? Dial 211, text 898-211, or search nj211.org.
You're listening to the Sports Bash with Mike Gill.
Never thought this radio stunt would catch on so big.
On 97.3 ESPN.
446 here on the Sports Bash. Josh Hennig filling in for Mike Gill here on 97.3 ESPN. Still to come, we hope to check in with Nick Earnshaw and Mike Gill, who are down there at Radio Row. Couple messages I want to get in here before we wrap up the 4 o'clock hour. By the way, don't forget, of course, when Nick joins us, he will be brought to you by Ocean Casino Resort in Atlantic City, as well as the Fanatics Sportsbook, where you go for the action, not just for Super Bowl 59, but for March Madness, for whatever, maybe the UFC fights this weekend. So go to Fanatics Sportsbook, go to the Gallery, go to Ocean, go for the win For more information on all the action, visit theoceanac.com. Gambling problem, call 1-800-GAMBLER. You know, one of the storylines for this game that I'm sure Mike Gill will be hitting on with all of his guests down there at Radio Row coming up is going to be the narrative about Jalen Hurts. And I feel like every television show, every radio show I turn on has really beat this dead horse. I mean, they have really nuked it. And that's why I've tried not to embellish it myself here. But I do think it's interesting as we think about Jalen Hurts. You heard the comment from Jeffrey Lawyer earlier that Nick Sirianni is doing what's expected of him. The organization is having a level of success that is expected of them. What about the quarterback? Jalen Hurts, between college and the NFL, regular season and postseason, has almost 90 wins as a starting quarterback with 10 different offensive coordinators. From Alabama to Oklahoma to Philadelphia. Nick Sirianni likes to say that all Jalen Hurts does is win. Well, if that's all that Jalen Hurts does, then why do we still question him? And I think the problem is that there's a contingent of people out there that you give him a bag of money, they say a bag of money is too heavy. You give a guy, you say you want your quarterback to win, you don't like how he wins. You don't like the aesthetic. I think the problem with the Philadelphia Eagles is they don't match the aesthetic that a lot of people want to see from championship contenders. They want to see a Josh Allen caliber-led team. Or back in the day, they liked the idea of the Drew Breeses and the Kurt Warners. They liked the idea of Ben Roethlisberger. I mean, I'll even go as far to say that there were probably people who really liked Michael Vick and really liked the way he won games. And this is not a negative against anyone in particular. I'm not going to sit here and say that there's a right or wrong way to win games. But what I will say is this. If the only thing that we measure these athletes on anymore is if they are trying to win championships, then shouldn't Jalen Hurts be the top of the mountain in that conversation? I mean, outside of Patrick Mahomes, how many quarterbacks get to multiple championships? Think about it. Joe Burrow's been the one. Josh Allen's been the none. Lamar Jackson's been the none. Most of the quarterbacks you could think of are all retired at this point. Brady's retired. Roethlisberger's retired. Rodgers only ever went to one. Breeze only ever went to one. In fact, Jalen Hurts is the first quarterback since Jim Kelly to lose his first Super Bowl and get back. Now, I'm not sitting here saying that the Eagles are going to lose the next 4 Super Bowls like the Bills and Jim Kelly did. But it is important to point out that football history is full of a bunch of guys who got there the first time and never got back. You know, guys like Dan Marino and Cam Newton, Jake Delhomme. There's a whole laundry list of these guys. Now, yeah, the list also includes Rex Grossman. But the point is that getting back is difficult for anyone and everyone. If you're wondering, the quarterback who did it before Jim Kelly, lose your first Super Bowl and get back, was John Elway. Elway lost his first 3. Won his final 2. And Elway is a very interesting conversation because history tells a different story about John Elway now that he won a championship. But he was considered a guy who could never win the big one. In fact, you go through John Elway's career, he had a lot of interception years. A lot of years he did not look like a number 1 overall pick. He didn't look like the once-in-a-generation quarterback that people thought he was going to be. What's interesting is that both Jim Kelly and John Elway came into the NFL with way more accolades, way more hype, way more expectations than Jalen Hurts being a second-round pick. In fact, Jim Kelly and John Elway were in the same draft class. People forget about that. Famous quarterback draft class, John Elway, Jim Kelly, Dan Marino, they were all in the same draft class. Jalen Hurts gets overshadowed a little bit as well. He's in the same draft class as guys like Joe Burrow and Lamar Jackson. Not Lamar Jackson. Joe Burrow, Tua Tagovailoa, Justin Herbert. Lamar Jackson was 2019, same as Josh Allen. But the point remains. Jalen Hurts is doing things that we've never seen before. Or if we have seen, it's been done by guys who are in the Hall of Fame. So again, if winning is what is most important, then why do we keep complaining that the bag of money that we're being handed is too heavy? I guarantee you that any other organization would love to have a quarterback who just wins. Look at the two teams in New York. A lot of jokes made about the Giants and the Jets last night at media night. But the reality is that I guarantee you, if Harry Roseman called Joe Shane or whoever the GM is for the Jets now, does anybody even know who the Jets GM is? They even hire a GM yet? I have no idea. That's the point. The Jets are such a dumpster fire. I can at least respect the Giants because they've won. The Jets, nobody knows even runs the team anymore. Is it Woody Johnson? Is it Chris Johnson? Is it Jim Johnson? I have no idea. But I guarantee you, if Harry Roseman called the Jets to the Giants, they take Jalen Hurts a heartbeat. The problem is that you don't appreciate what you have until it's gone. Look at any organization that's ever won in the past. Do you think people really appreciated Jim Kelly until he was gone? I know Dolphin fans, they miss Dan Marino a lot. More Sports Bash coming up next. Josh Hennig filling for Mike Gill on 97.3 ESPN.
It's Sixers basketball tonight on 97.3 ESPN with the voice of the Sixers, Tom McGinnis, calling all the exciting play-by-play action.
Oubre has it again. This time he fires. It's good. He nailed it. A triple from the right side by Oubre.
It's Sixers Maverick tonight. Coverage begins at 7 p.m. It's Sixers basketball all season long on South Jersey's radio home for Philadelphia 76ers basketball. 97.3 ESPN.
Hey, AI, how many touchdowns did the Eagles score in the 2023 season?
The Eagles scored 49 touchdowns in the 2023 season.
Hey, AI, I had a fall recently. I need to recover. Please help me walk again.
I'm sorry, but that is beyond my capabilities.
Hey, AI, my parents are getting older and I can't care for them by myself. Can you help me care for them?
I'm sorry, that is beyond my capabilities. AI will never replace care, but here's what I found for the best care near you.
Autumn Lake Healthcare Centers, trusted leaders in skilled nursing rehabilitation and senior care, and proud partners of the Philadelphia Eagles.
Okay, I have to tell you, I was just looking on eBay where I go for all kinds of things I love, and there it was.
That hologram trading card. One of the rarest, the last one I needed for my set. Shiny like the
designer handbag of my dreams. One of a kind. eBay had it, and now everyone's asking, ooh, where'd you get your
windshield wipers? eBay has all the parts that fit my car. No more annoying, just beautiful.
Whatever you love, find it on eBay. eBay. Things people love.
Craving a tasty breakfast or lunch? Come on down to Hot Bagels and More. They've got fresh baked bagels, irresistible spreads, and a mouth-watering selection of sandwiches, perfect for any appetite. Join them in Northfield, Atlantic City, Summers Point, and 2 locations in Margate for flavors that keep you coming back. Don't miss their homemade tuna and chicken salad, along with hearty soups. Order ahead or take advantage of their catering options for your next event. Hot Bagels and More, where every bite is a delight. Visit hotbagelsandmore.com or stop in today.
Febreze. As a rideshare driver, I love keeping my car smelling fresh and clean. So when I'm driving, I only trust Febreze car vent clips, featuring 3 distinct intensity settings. Because it's that little touch that sets me apart. I can turn the intensity down for subtle freshness, or I can turn it up for when I want lots of scent. So whether it's set to low, medium, or high, with Febreze Car, I know my car's going to smell amazing. Which keeps my driver rating right where it belongs.
Picking up! Oscar!
Tune in to the Bet365 Play of the Day during the Sports Bash with me, Mike Gill, every weekday afternoon at 5:45 on 97.3 ESPN. Made possible by Bet365. Whatever the moment, it's never ordinary at Bet365.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm.
Do you find yourself stuck in a timeshare? Get the real facts about the timeshare industry and your options for cancellation. Chuck McDowell, founder of Wesley Financial Group, has put together a free information guide that reveals the secrets the timeshare industry doesn't want you to know, including the 5 ways to get rid of your timeshare. Call now and get this timeshare cancellation guide absolutely free.
Call 800-242-1551. That's 800-242-1551. 800-242-1551.
Paid for by Wesley Financial Group.
Winter is here. Are you prepared? Don't get left in the dark. Kelvy Electric, a certified Generac dealer, has you covered. From installation to maintenance, they're your go-to experts for Generac generators, ensuring your home stays powered through any storm. A Generac home standby generator will automatically restore power to your home during an outage, so your life goes on uninterrupted. Put your trust in Kelvy Electric, the premier electrical contractor, serving South Jersey for over 110 years. Visit KelvyElectric.com today and stay ahead of any storm.
Drivers who switch and save with Progressive could save hundreds. With that kind of money, you could go big time and switch to the expensive shampoo with amino acids. Sure, you don't know what those are or why you need them, but it sounds very impressive. And if you switch and save hundreds, you can massage it into your scalp every day. Now, if only you can get people to lean toward your head to smell those aminos. Switch to Progressive and you could save big time. For shampoo, Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates, not available in all states. Potential savings will vary.
Some people just know they could save hundreds on car insurance by checking Allstate first. Like, you know to check that your seats aren't in the visitor section first, before buying tickets.
I'm so excited for this game. I can't believe you got us tickets.
Me too. Wait, are we on the wrong side?
Yeah, checking first is smart. So check Allstate first for a quote that could save you hundreds.
This is going to be a long game.
You're in good hands with Allstate.
Savings vary, subject to terms, conditions, and availability. Allstate Fire and Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates, Northbrook, Illinois.
Blow the whistle. Hi, it's Pete from Chickie and Pete's. There's only one official sports bar of your Philadelphia Eagles, and that's Chickies and Pete's. Ready for the big game? Go where the players go. Don't wait. Reserve your table right now for the big game for all of our locations at chickiesandpete's.com. The best in-game experience anywhere. Be the MVP of your big game with Chickie and Pete's to-go catering. The Eagles are in the big game. Chickies and Pete's. Hi, it's Pete from Chickie and Pete's. Wrap up your workday with the all-new Chickies and Pete's Happy Hour with unbeatable specials weekdays from 4 to 6 p.m. Enjoy half-price orders of Chickies medium tender wings, one of our tasty and delicious pizzas, or an order of mouth-watering hot, cold, or fried shrimp. Plus $3 domestic bottled beers, $5 Tito's, and $6 seltzers. It's the all-new Happy Hour, weekdays 4 to 6 p.m., only at Chickies and Pete's.
Home of the Sports Bash with Mike Gill, 97.3 ESPN, WENJ, WENJ HD, Millville, Atlantic City. This is the Sports Bash with Mike Gill on 97.3 ESPN and the 97.3 ESPN free mobile app. Now live from inside the Ocean Casino Resort Studio, here's Mike Gill.
Josh Hennig, Philly for Mike Gill here on the Sports Bash, 97.3 ESPN FM, 97.3 ESPN mobile app powered by First Bank of Seattle. For those of you who are just joining us at the 5 o'clock hour, thank you for listening to 97.3 ESPN. Mike Gill, Nick Earnshaw, and the team, they have landed in New Orleans. New Orleans, Super Bowl 59. Hope to hear from Mike and Nick a little bit later this hour. You guys can chime in as well. 609-403-0973. your DMs into 97.3 ESPN mobile app powered by First Bank of Seattle. We opened the show at 2 o'clock talking about the trade. And I know I was a bit condescending about it. The trade that doesn't even matter. Well, that trade being for Sixer fans. So, Caleb Martin, for those who didn't hear, or maybe you heard about it in passing, has been traded to the Dallas Mavericks. The deal is actually official right now, according to Keith Pompey. So, here's the breakdown of the official terms of the deal, it's pretty much on line with what Shams Charania reported a couple hours ago, which is Caleb Martin will go to the Dallas Mavericks. Quentin Grimes and a 2025 second-round pick is going to Philadelphia. Now, my favorite part of this story is actually the fact that they're playing the Mavs tonight. So the two teams who are playing each other tonight can literally just tell the guys to walk across the hallway to each other's locker rooms. And, that's probably why the deal got approved so quickly, honestly. Because it was like, we're all in the same building. What do we have to approve? I see you, you see me. But on a more serious note, and I know I was a bit condescending about it earlier in the show, but there are some important factors to keep in mind, as Austin Krell pointed out to us in the 3 o'clock hour here on 97.3 ESPN. Austin Krell from OnePattinson.com, Sixers insider and NBA reporter. You get out of the Caleb Martin contract for the next 3 years. Quentin Grimes is a free agent after this year. So now you're not locked into paying a guy $8-9 million a year for the next couple years. Grimes, who makes $4 million less than Caleb Martin, is also a savings off of your cap this year. The other benefit, Quentin Grimes, you are earning his bird rights. So now you have exclusive negotiating power with him. So he can't just leave you in free agency if you want to keep him. So there are some benefits to this deal when it comes to the Sixers. And for the Sixers, getting that better three-point shooting, that better version of a 3-and-D guy, has a lot of value for a team that has been playing, and I don't mean this flippantly, has been playing a lot of small ball. The Philadelphia 76ers have been playing a lot of lineups with, the fact that you've gone out there numerous times with Maxey, Lowry, and Gordon as your 1, 2, and 3 in and of itself is a joke. And then you're making Yabusele be the center, because then you send out there a rookie counsel as well. Or Caleb Martin, or KJ Martin. Now, I don't know if this literally means that you are not going to see those small lineups anymore, because I do think some of those small lineups, they're out of necessity. We all know that. There's no possible way that those lineups are done purposefully. Look, you got half your team injured at this point. People should be grateful the Sixers even had a chance in the game on Sunday. They were woefully outmanned, outgunned, out everything in that game. And they still had a chance to win. Insane. Paul George, Joel Embiid, Andre Drummond, KJ Martin, and Caleb Martin have all missed games in recent days. I'm sure there's a part of it that the Sixers were saying, can we just get a healthy body in here? But as I said earlier today on the Sports Bash, Josh Hennig filling in for Mike Gill here on a Tuesday edition on 97.3 ESPN. This is where it gets frustrating if you are a Sixers fan. Because you have a team in the Eagles. 2 Super Bowl appearances in 3 years. And the Sixers can't even get out of the second round? The Sixers are not the second or the third or the fourth or the fifth best team when they're fully healthy in the Eastern Conference. The Sixers are a team. Not the A team in the Eastern Conference. Lowercase a. Don't want to insult the original A team from the 80s here. Those were a bunch of bad you-know-whats. Sixers ain't that. So this trade feels hollow in some ways if you're a Sixers fan. It's basically, how does it impact the bottom line? Brings down your luxury tax bill. Spending less money for the rest of the season. Don't have to pay a guy that you may or may not want the next 2 seasons. Cheaper controlled player. When are the Sixers going to start building a basketball team that you think can win a championship again? Look, Paul George was a nice move in the offseason, but we all agreed that he has an injury history, and guess what? He's injured. We all know Joel Embiid had an injury history. Guess what? He's injured. And you had a roster, as Austin Krell pointed out a couple hours ago here on 97.3 ESPN, that was built around the former league MVP, who is unavailable. The backup center you signed for when he wasn't playing, Andre Drummond, he's injured. But the problem is you still have a chance to play in tournament. Because I'm going to say the Bills. The Chicago Bulls are in total sell mode. They got rid of Levine. They're trying to trade Vucevic. They're trying to get rid of Ball. I wouldn't be surprised if that team is gone by the trade deadline. They're one of your main obstacles in front of you when it comes to the play-in tournament. I mean, I'll pull up the standings again, but I believe the Sixers were either a game and a half behind the Bulls, I believe it was. Let's pull it up here. Sixers are a game behind the Bulls. I shortchanged them. They're only a game. You're a game behind a team that's in total sell mode. The Hawks just lost Johnson for the year, so they're probably going to start falling down the list. I feel bad for Trae Young. I mean, that dude has done everything possible to make that team good. And yet, nobody can stay healthy around him, or they trade everybody who's healthy around him. It's ridiculous. I guarantee you that the people who think they're building the Hawks are probably people who think they're building the Sixers. Probably the same people. Oh, we're trying to do everything we can. It's just not working. It's like in those movies, they say, don't press the red button. Why? Don't press the red button. Why? Then you press the red button. Whoops. I'll get to the text in just a minute at 609-403-0973. Your DMs into 973 ESPN. Mobile app powered by First Bank of Sea Isle City. And the reason why I put the Eagles and the Sixers as kind of like a parallel, because what Jeffrey Lurie said about Nick Sirianni, you would never hear anyone in the Sixers organization say this about the Nick who's the head coach of the Sixers. Would you?
Nick has done a phenomenal job, just as we expected when we hired him. Incredible leader, attention to detail, love of football, incredibly passionate, able to connect with everyone in the organization, the players, his coaches.
You never heard anyone talk about Nick Nurse that way. And it's not because Nick Nurse is a bad coach. Nick Nurse has an NBA title, might I remind you. But there is a confidence from the top down in the Eagles organization. There is a standard that is expected of those guys. When have you ever heard a Sixers player talk like A.J. Brown does? A.J. Brown would be a number one receiver on almost every team in the NFL. Except for maybe, like the Vikings and the 49ers? And the Seahawks, probably. But I digress. Number one receiver says he is bought in to Saquon in the running game.
We have a superstar running back who's incredible, and we're trying to do everything and anything possible to make sure he's doing what he's supposed to do. He's been doing a great job, and the team just bought in. The team just bought in, win after win, and here we are. We're just trying to finish.
Think about that. When have you ever heard the Sixers talk anything like that? That's selfless. And I know basketball breeds an element of selfishness because there's only 5 guys on the court. But I have read A.J. Brown's Inner Excellence book by Jim Murray. And I can tell you that one of the things they preach in that book is in order to be the most successful you can be, you have to let go of your ego, and you have to embrace the fact that you will only be successful if the other people around you are also successful. The old saying, a rising tide raises all boats. That is the mindset of the Philadelphia Eagles. How about something from C.J. Garner-Johnson? Arguably one of the most important players on the Eagles defense.
Be where your feet are. Know when to turn it off. Understand, every moment's not for you, and this moment right here is for my team. I want to be able to enjoy this moment and do what I can and help the young guys we got, because we got young teams. So I want to be able to express this and enjoy this with them as much as I can.
I mean, it sounds like CJ is reading Inner Excellence too to me. Be where my feet are. Embrace the moment. Be there for the young guys. Do what I need to do for my team. It's all mentality, folks. The Eagles have the mentality of a team that wants to win a championship. The Sixers organization has a mentality of a team that, well, frankly, I don't know what their plan is the rest of the year. Right now, the only good thing the Sixers have going for them is Tyrese Maxey. And the Sixers are fortunate that he is as amazing as he is because they found him late in the first round. And James, who chimes in on the DMs on the 97.3 ESPN mobile app powered by First Bank of Seattle, says Josh Maxey is the face of the Sixers. He is carrying this team. It's why he should have been an all-star. Probably should have been Tyler Hero on the team. I feel like Tyler Hero's on the team because somebody was doing Pat Riley a favor or something. Let's be realistic. Who's had a better year? Maxey, who's top 10 in steals, field goals made, leading the Sixers in three-point shooting. He's had a really good year. But they put Tyler Hero in the game. Got it. Let's check out the text board. 609-403-0973. Your DMs into 973 ESPN mobile app powered by First Bank of Seattle. Texter didn't leave their name, but they literally just named the entire A team on the text board. It's a good job of that texter. I give you credit if you left your name. B.A. Baracus, Faceman, Hannibal, Murdoch out of control. Got the whole team there, buddy. It's a good job by you. I love the A-Team from the 80s. I'm a huge fan of that show. That show is an example of an era of television where you knew the good guys were going to win, but the suspense of how they were going to win kept you watching. Some of these shows today they just try too hard. Character development is such an underrated factor when it comes to TV shows and movies now. I mean, if you're not developing the characters, I have no investment in the character. It's as simple as that. One of the reasons why, I think of the shows I like today, I love the show Blacklist, for example. I'm a fan of Suits. Shows that develop characters keep you coming back to see what happens to the character. I mean, that's part of the Sixers' problem. No character development. I mean, sports is a reality TV show, right? You're invested in Saquon Barkley. You're invested in his story. We all can identify with that story. The job you had didn't want to pay you. You go somewhere else, willing to pay you. It's a better job. You get better at the job. Now you have a chance to be a champion. It's like a Hollywood script. People always joke that the NFL is scripted. Is Saquon part of the script? I guess John Murray wasn't told that. Or was he? Obviously, I'm kidding. More text at 609-403-0970. Jeff from Ocean City says, we need some music behind you to pump up for the Eagles speech. Yeah. Let's see what I can do there for you, Jeff. Although the speech is done, so it's kind of useless to have the music now, right? Let's see here. See if I can cue something up here. Yeah, there we go. The Philadelphia Eagles, they want to win. Probably more than any other team does. You know why? Because they know what it's like to lose. Jalen Hurts says losing the Super Bowl 2 years drove him to this point. What about Saquon Barkley? Here's Saquon Barkley last night on the opening media night.
I do know that God put me in an unbelievable position to have a platform, and I just try to go out there and play hard, put a smile on my face, and make people proud, and that's what it's all about. And I'm super thankful for it, and just try to take advantage of this and everything that comes with it. Something that I dreamed about since I was a little kid, and to actually be here and let it come to, finally come to light would be amazing. But the dream wasn't just getting there; the dream was to win the Super Bowl, and I think we're capable of doing that. We have unbelievable staff, coaches, guys on this team, and like I said, it's going to take everyone.
I would love the Sixers player to talk like that once in my lifetime. Just once. I know a lot of you Sixer fans are mad that half the Villanova teams in New York, but let's be realistic. Those guys do want to win. That's a team right there. Although I was laughing, was it last night that Josh Hart was talking to the ball? Like he's like yelling at the ball after he scored. That was a little weird, but all right, enough of the music. By the way, Joe in Wildwood. Yeah, I know what you meant, B.A. Baracus. Listen, Joe, I watched the show. I'm not too worried about you misspelling B.A. Baracus' name. It's all good, man. It's all good. Matt in Delaware chimes in, forget about Caleb Martin was even on the team. He hasn't played half the year. It's probably, like I said, probably the reason why they traded him. Part of the reason why they probably traded him was because at the end of the day, they were like, can we just get a healthy body in here? It is sad that you forget that a guy who was your second biggest off-season addition for the 76ers, people forgot about him because he's one of the 20 guys who got injured this year. Andrew at Summers Point chimes in and says, let's get to the offseason. Who's going to take Embiid? What are we going to get for him? It's easier said than done, Andrew. 2 reasons. 1, because you got to find a team that is willing to take on a big man. This is a wing player guard league. The big man is a dying breed in the NBA in terms of their value. Unless your name is like Jokic or Cat. Like, I guarantee you, there's no way Luka goes to the Lakers. The Lakers didn't have Anthony Davis. If the Lakers had Joel Embiid instead of Anthony Davis, that trade ain't getting done. I'm telling you right now. AD is a champion. AD has shown you he can be healthy for a playoff run. Embiid hasn't shown you that. So you got to find a team that if, and I say if, you were to trade Embiid, a team that has fallen on hard times, like in Atlanta, for example. Atlanta's a perfect example. All right. Check back text board just a little bit. 69403-0973. Your DMs into 973 ESPN. Mobile app powered by First Bank of Seattle. I have learned and confirmed Nick Earnshaw is on Radio Row. He will join us next on 973 ESPN.
Wake up weekday mornings from 6 to 10 a.m. with Unsportsmanlike on 97.3 ESPN with Evan Cohen, Super Bowl champion Chris Canty, and Michelle Small.
Can't wake up without it.
Brought to you by the Gallery Bar Book and Games at Ocean Casino Resort in Atlantic City.
So you need a new car or SUV, but you're upside down in your trade, but you're worried about your down payment, but your credit is less than perfect. Bring your butts to any Matt Blatt Kia today. With over 1,100 new Kias, all with 0 down, 0 payments until April, or get $10,000 in bonus cash, or 0% for 72 months on every clearly marked Kia EV6 and 9. Buried in a loan or lease? Matt Blatt Kia wants to get you released. New all-wheel drive Kia Sportage or Sorento, 1.9% for 60 months. Matt Blatt Kia. With our PA and New Jersey Kia Superstores, Abington, Egg Harbor Township, Toms River, or right to your front door.
It's gotta be a Matt Blatt Kia.
With approved credit, $13.89 per thousand finance. Not all will qualify. Credit may affect down payment. Offers can't be combined. Go to mattblattkianj.com for complete details or 888-505-6670. Price includes all costs to be paid by consumer, except for licensing, registration, and taxes through KMF. Rebates and incentives to dealer. Expires 2/4/25. Matt Blatt Kia, 6211 Black Horse Pike, Egg Harbor Township, and on Route 37 in Toms River.
Hi, welcome to Staples. Hi, I hear Staples can print it all for my business.
Oh, if you can think it, Staples can print it, and will beat any print quote.
Oh, great. I'm thinking new brochures and yard signs.
No problem.
I'm thinking calendars, t-shirts, and pens.
Totally.
I'm thinking Staples is the place for printing.
I thought you might think that.
Right now at Staples, get up to $250 off your print purchase. Ends 4/5 exclusions apply. Visit staples.com/print for offer details. Price match guarantee valid in store and staples.com/print. Visit staples.com/price match for details.
The county just requested more electric charging stations.
Orders have really amped up at Able Electric.
We need 3 more at First in Maine, and we just got another hotel chain.
It's no shock. Able Electric needs able electricians.
Grocery store wants charging stations too.
And fast.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. Put our matching platform to work so you can spend less time searching and more time connecting with talented candidates. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get $75 towards your first sponsored job. Terms and conditions apply.
There she is, founder and CEO. High five.
Dave can't stop celebrating with every business owner in town.
All right, Baker Man, high five.
He's sharing the excitement of big savings with the Comcast Business 5-year price lock guarantee.
Oh, up top, Bike Shop. Yeah.
It's 5 years of gig speed internet.
Quick, high five.
5 years of advanced security.
5 years.
And 5 years of a great rate that won't change.
Yeah, law partners. Chamberlain, Messingthorpe, Dubois.
All from the company with 99.9% network reliability. Switch today and get the 5-year price lock guarantee.
5 years!
It's back, but only for a limited time.
Woo!
Powering 5 years of savings, powering possibilities. Comcast Business.
Can't forget you, voiceover guy.
Ah, thanks, Dave.
High five!
Ends 3/9/25. Guaranteed rate applies to monthly service charge for new customers on qualifying internet bundle, excluding taxes and fees. Other restrictions apply.
As a mom, comforting my family is what I do best. Vicks Vapor Stick provides soothing, non-medicated Vicks vapors in an easy-to-apply stick. And it dries fast, so there's no mess. I use it to comfort myself and my family.
Thanks, Mom.
Vicks Vapo Stick. Soothing comfort for the whole family. And when you need more comfort for yourself, try Vicks Vapo Shower.
The last one I needed for my set. Shiny like the...
Designer handbag of my dreams. One of a kind. eBay had it, and now everyone's asking, ooh, where'd you get your...
Windshield wipers. eBay has all the parts that fit my car. No more annoying. Just beautiful.
Whatever you love, find it on eBay. eBay. Things people love.
This is the Town Square, New Jersey Info and Weather Network.
Progressive Insurance presents the Sports Flash on 97.3 ESPN. Both the Eagles and the Chiefs met the media on Monday at the Super Bowl in New Orleans, gearing up for Sunday's game, a rematch of Super Bowl 57. For the Eagles, it's the 5th trip to the Super Bowl in franchise history. The Chiefs are making their 5th appearance in the past 6 years. The Philadelphia 76ers and the Dallas Mavericks meet tonight. Both teams have lost back-to-back games. Philadelphia coming off a loss Sunday to Boston, where they blew a 17-point halftime lead. New Dallas Maverick Anthony Davis, who was traded to the Mavs from the Lakers for Luka Doncic, will not play tonight. The Flyers are in Salt Lake City to meet the Utah Hockey Club. Philadelphia has been shut out in 3 straight games, losing in Denver to the Colorado Avalanche 2-0. Tonight wraps up their 2-game trip. They're back home Thursday to face Washington. Progressive Insurance, bundle auto and home, renters or condo, and save with Progressive. I'm Tony Desiri, and that's your Sports Flash on 97.3 ESPN.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm.
Do you find yourself stuck in a timeshare? Get the real facts about the timeshare industry and your options for cancellation. Chuck McDowell, founder of Wesley Financial Group, has put together a free information guide that reveals the secrets the timeshare industry doesn't want you to know, including the 5 ways to get rid of your timeshare. Call now and get this timeshare cancellation guide absolutely free.
Call 800-242-1551. That's 800-242-1551. 800-242-1551.
Paid for by Wesley Financial Group.
From the Town Square, New Jersey Info and Weather Network, I'm Chief Meteorologist Dan Zarrow. Our next storm system arrives a little more than 24 hours from now, tomorrow night. And it looks like a wintry wet nest. Sloppy roads possible Thursday morning due to snowy, icy, slushy conditions. Increasing clouds tonight and cold temperatures, low at 24. Cloudy tomorrow, high 35. Could be a snow shower at some point. Widespread snow to icy mix to rain tomorrow night through about midday on Thursday. Get weather 24/7 wherever you are. Download our free mobile app today.
South Jersey Gas is your energy efficiency partner, helping you lower your utility bills and use less energy. Conserving energy and saving money has never been more important. However, sometimes it's hard to know where to start. That's where South Jersey Gas Conserve comes in. Conserve is an online resource with energy-saving incentives, easy tips for saving energy and money, and much more. Check out Conserve today and start saving at southjerseygas.com/conserve. Go Birds!
We have the perfect solution for sitting in traffic.
You come with me.
The Sports Bash with Mike Gill on 97.3 ESPN and the 97.3 ESPN free mobile app.
Josh Hennig filling for Mike Gill here on 97.3 ESPN FM, the 97.3 ESPN mobile app powered by First Bank of Seattle. We'll get back to text board in just a bit. 609-403-0973. Evan in Little Egg Harbor, your texts and more. But right now, I have tracked down one of the 97.3 contingent down at Radio Row. Nick Earnshaw. He's a man of his word. I can't rely on anybody else, Nick, but I can always Rely on you, my friend. How you doing?
What's going on, Josh? Yeah, we just walked into Radio Row. It is an insane scene, but, I had to make the call. I was going to be here at 4:30 or 5:30 there. It's 4:30 here in New Orleans. It is a madhouse here on Radio Row, but I'd be there for you for a couple of minute nugget.
All right, so really quick. So I think the biggest nugget was who was on your flight.
Yes, so we flew out of Newark, Mike Gill and I did, and Chris Canty we saw on our flight. So he was there. Pretty funny to run into a few people like that. He was sitting in the front. I was all the way in the back, so that's pretty hilarious too. But yeah, we saw Chris Canty on the flight. That was hysterical. I believe he's going to be a guest coming up this week on the Sports Bash show. Looking forward to that.
So you didn't actually get to talk to Canty. You just saw the 6'8" man walking.
So no, he was already in his seat.
Oh, okay.
They boarded. Yeah, they boarded a little weirdly. So it was everyone was kind of all over the place. Some people were sitting sporadically throughout the plane, and we made it to the back, and we were zone 6. So then we walked right by, and Gill's like, "Hey, there's Chris Canty," and we walked right by him. So that was pretty funny.
So now you are in New Orleans. How is life on the ground so far?
It is pretty hectic, to say the least. It is hectic down here. We just walked in. We're walking to our table now as we speak. So yeah, we've seen a few people already that we're familiar with. I'm just looking around. It's a who's who event down here.
Now, does Nick Earnshaw care at all that the Sixers made a trade while you were in the air?
We landed, and my phone was blowing up as soon as I turned off airplane mode. So I did get to see it. I don't know how I feel about it. I'm still digesting it, Josh, as we walk around here. But, yeah, Caleb Martin moving on to the Mavericks. So is he just switching locker rooms tonight? Like, what's going on?
Pretty much. Quentin Grimes and him are going to just basically switch locker rooms. The deal has already been officialized.
I love it. I absolutely love it. They got a second-round pick out of that, too.
They got their original second-round pick out of it.
How about that? Daryl Morey making moves. It seems like they're going to keep Yabusele as well. So
I hope they will.
Based upon that move. It seems like they will.
Now, the other thing is Grimes makes $4 million less than Caleb Martin. He's a free agent after this year, but they have his bird rights. So you get out of Caleb Martin's $32 million contract. So it is a business money move as well.
Yeah, it definitely is. So they could get under that tax heading into the off season. So that'll be very interesting to say the least. But yeah, Daryl Morey making moves and the Mavericks making more moves. Not as big as the other one they made, but that is crazy.
So I do have a nugget I was saving for you, Nick Earnshaw. I've been waiting all day to talk about this with you. Okay?
You probably have more nuggets for me.
So Jeffrey Lurie spoke to the media yesterday, and he was asked about his interest in buying the Celtics. Here is what the Eagles owner said last night at opening night of Super Bowl 59.
No, I mean, I'm not really interested in acquiring another sports team. I think it's connected because, they were my childhood team. I've got a tremendous amount of respect for their whole culture. I sort of see it as like a kindred soul in the NBA. It's not something that's top of mind, and my whole focus is on my love of the Eagles and to win another Super Bowl for Philadelphia. And I'm obsessed, as you know, and that's where it all comes from. I would never say never, but I'm not looking to own another sports franchise.
Nick Earnshaw, your reaction to Jeffrey Lurie saying he is not going to buy the Celtics?
Very fascinating. I'm sure he's still in the mix, but, they're focused on the Super Bowl. They're going to stay focused on the Super Bowl. That was the correct answer to give, to say the least, by Jeffrey Lurie. So we'll see how that all plays out after all of this mayhem down in New Orleans. We'll see.
I will say, though, when you watch the video, when he chuckles there, it's almost like a look of like, oh, God, I don't want to have another football. I want another team. Like, it's almost like he's a part of him. It's like, I don't want that responsibility in my life.
Right, exactly. It's like, I don't know if I want to. We'll see if he actually sticks to his word on that. It'll be fascinating to see. But, hopefully he just stays with the Eagles. Yeah, I know he's from Boston. He has connections there. But hopefully it's just Eagles. Stay the Eagles owner, and don't turn into a Josh Harris. You never want to be a Josh Harris.
I did like the fact that he straight up said no. I appreciate. He didn't beat around the bush. He didn't be like, oh well, I grew up a Celtics fan. Like now, there was another thing he said to the media yesterday, Nick Earnshaw. Did you hear what Jeffrey Lurie said about Nick Sirianni?
No, I did not get a chance to see that. Here
is what the owner said. I want to see if you catch what I caught when he said this.
Nick has done a phenomenal job, just as we expected when we hired him. Incredible leader, attention to detail, love of football, incredibly passionate, able to connect with everyone in the organization, the players, his coaches.
Did you hear what I heard in there?
I want to know what you heard, because I heard phenomenal leader. That's what I heard. That stuck out to me.
I heard him say he is as we expected when we hired him. Earnshaw, Jeffrey Lurie is saying what we have gotten from Nick Sirianni in 4 years is what he expected all along.
Fascinating. That's fascinating. 2 out of 3 years going to the Super Bowl. I mean, I don't know if anybody expected that. I think he might be embellishing just a tad, but he has confidence in his coach. And when you make that type of hire, that's what's going to happen.
Well, I just thought it was interesting. Wanted to share with you a little bit what Jeffrey Lurie had to say to the media last night. You are part of the media now at Media Row. So give the audience a little preview of what you and Gill and the gang got going on for the rest of the week.
Yeah, so there's going to be a ton of guests. We've already booked a ton. I don't want to give them away, any spoilers yet, but we have a ton of guests coming on. Some Eagles that possibly could make an appearance as well, former Eagles, I should say. So you got to stay tuned. There's tons of interviews coming. Football at 4 is going to be absolutely so much fun with Mosher and the guys from the Inside the Birds. We have round tables set up for that, so that's going to be something to look forward to too.
All right, Nick, I will let you get back to dealing with everybody else down there. You've already told me that you've apparently been assigned babysitting duties for somebody over there. So
we're on a roll already. Let's put it that way.
I'm sure it's a roll, to say the least. We'll compare notes later, okay, my friend?
We will, man. We'll talk to you tomorrow, all right?
All right. Nick Earnshaw down in New Orleans, where he's an hour behind. You already heard him do it. He didn't know what time it was. It's going to happen all week. You're going to hear Mike Gill tomorrow. He's going to mess up the time. It's going to be all week like this. Remember, every time the Eagles have been to the Super Bowl, it has been a location in a different time zone. And Nick Earnshaw's appearance here on the Sports Bash brought to you by the Ocean Casino Resort and the Fanatics Sportsbook in Atlantic City. Get your game on when you watch Super Bowl 59 at the Gallery Bar booking games. The Fanatics Sportsbook inside Ocean Casino, not just for football season, but for March Madness and more. UFC fights this Saturday. So go to Ocean, go Fanatics Sportsbook, go for the win. For more information, visit theoceanac.com. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. All right. I got Evan from Little Lake Harbor to get to. I want to squeeze in, though, Dan EHT. He says, could the Eagles go down as one of the greatest teams of all time if they win a championship? I don't know about that, because I think that greatest teams of all time usually have a litany of Hall of Famers on the roster. I mean, who are the Hall of Famers on this team right now? Lane Johnson and Saquon at their careers continue on this trajectory. Not Slay. I mean, maybe Jalen Carter, but he's a long ways away from that. Yeah, I think it's a little early to be going with greatest of all time conversation, Dan EHT. But I appreciate the positive vibes. On a Tuesday, Josh Hennig filling for Mike Gill here on the Sports Bash on 97.3 ESPN. More your texts as we wrap up the 5 o'clock hour of the Sports Bash.
It's Sixers basketball tonight on 97.3 ESPN with the voice of the Sixers, Tom McGinnis, calling all the exciting play-by-play action.
Oubre has it again. This time he fires. It's good. He nailed it. A triple from the right side by Oubre.
It's Sixers Maverick tonight. Coverage begins at 7 p.m. It's Sixers basketball all season long on South Jersey's radio home for Philadelphia 76ers basketball. 97.3 ESPN.
Go to get your game on at the Gallery Bar Book and Games at Ocean Casino Resort. Cheers your favorite drinks while cheering on your favorite team. Get in on the parlay while in the middle of a party. Go for the sports scene and go for the endless screens. Go to the Gallery. Go to the Fanatics Sportsbook. Go for the win at Ocean Casino Resort. For more information, visit theoceanac.com. Must be 21 or older to wager or consume alcohol. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Hi, welcome to Staples. Hi, I hear Staples can print it all for my business.
Oh, if you can think it, Staples can print it, and will beat any print quote.
Oh, great. I'm thinking new brochures and yard signs.
No problem.
I'm thinking calendars, t-shirts, and pens.
Totally.
I'm thinking Staples is the place for printing.
I thought you might think that.
Right now at Staples, get up to $250 off your print purchase. Ends 4/5 exclusions apply. Visit staples.com/print for offer details. Price match guarantee valid in store and staples.com/print. Visit staples.com/price match for details.
Find what you love what you find. A Total Wine and More. There's so much waiting for you. Spirits and beer, thousands of wines. Guides in the know and prices so low. It just might blow your mind. You're gonna find what you love and love what you find.
With curbside pickup and delivery available, you'll always find what you love, only at Total Wine & More.
Drink responsibly, B21.
There's a place where you can come as you are, see how it's made, and why we make it. You'll explore roads less traveled, steal a few moments, and slow down the clock. Then just kick back and stay a while. It's time to get away close to home in South Jersey. Head to visitsouthjersey.com to plan your trip today. We'll see you down the road.
Taxes was not knowing your full financial picture. Now Taxes is getting and maximizing your refund all in one place. Credit Karma, where a TurboTax expert can do your taxes for you. They'll get you the most money back, guaranteed. Then you can do more with all that money, all in Credit Karma. Now this is Taxes. Intuit Credit Karma with TurboTax. Get started today. See guaranteed details at turbotax.com/guarantees. Experts only available with TurboTax Live.
Fabric Talk. Hello, my love. I am your living room carpet. I see everything. I feel everything. After a while, I smell like everything, including Sir Pickles, who you snuggle with while binging that dating show you can't stop watching. So, how about we freshen things up with Febreze Fabric Spray? Oh, and a big spray for my pals, couch and ottoman. Ah, yes, refreshing. Breathe happy, Febreze, la 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 la.
Hey, AI, how many touchdowns did the Eagles score in the 2023 season?
The Eagles scored 49 touchdowns in the 2023 season.
Hey, AI, I had a fall recently. I need to recover. Please help me walk again.
I'm sorry, but that is beyond my capabilities.
Hey, AI, my parents are getting older and I can't care for them by myself. Can you help me care for them?
I'm sorry, that is beyond my capabilities. AI will never replace care, but here's what I found for the best care near you.
Autumn Lake Healthcare Centers, trusted leaders in skilled nursing rehabilitation and senior care, and proud partners of the Philadelphia Eagles.
My brother-in-law died suddenly, and now my sister and her kids have to sell their home. That's why I told my husband we could not put off getting life insurance any longer. An agent offered us a 10-year, $500,000 policy for nearly $50 a month. Then we called SelectQuote. SelectQuote found us identical coverage for only $19 a month, a savings of $369 a year.
Whether you need a $500,000 policy or a $5 million policy, SelectQuote could save you more than 50% on term life insurance.
For your free quote, call SelectQuote at 1-800-478-6688. That's 1-800-478-6688. Or go to SelectQuote.com. 1-800-478-6688. That's 1-800-478-6688.
SelectQuote. We shop. You save. Full details on example policies at selectquote.com/commercials.
Over 40 years ago, John Jenkins Sr. invented the heated bench for football players. Today, Jenkins Plumbing, Heating, and Air Conditioning brings that same innovation and reliability to your home or business. Need plumbing repairs or a new gas furnace, boiler, or water heater? Ask about utility loans up to $25,000 at 0% for 7 years and rebates up to $29.50. Call 609-641-6440 or visit jenkinsandsons.com.
You're listening to The Sports Bash with Mike Gill on 97.3 ESPN and the free mobile app.
Josh Hennig filling in for Mike Gill. Rounding up the 5 o'clock hour here on 97.3 ESPN. Mike Gill, Nick Earnshaw, Pete G. The whole gang is down there. I've been told Billy Schwein made the trip down there as well. They are all down there in New Orleans. I'm back here in the Ocean Casino Resort Studios. Let's get some of your guys' text before we get out of here. 609-403-0973. Your DMs into the 97.3 ESPN mobile app powered by First Bank of Seattle. Evan from Little Lake Harbor says, do you think Saquon is going to retire as an Eagle? As a Cowboys fan, I hope not. Evan, it's a good question. I don't know if Saquon is going to retire as an Eagle literally. I think he would like to. I think Saquon is very comfortable in this organization. He did not take the decision to move his family from the Giants organization to Philadelphia lightly. He obviously on the East Coast for a reason. He wanted to be near his family, who are all in the Pennsylvania, New Jersey region. I think that Saquon is going to want to stay here because of family, because of comfort, because I think he feels the organization and him have similar values. So, as a Cowboys fan, sorry, Evan. Got a follow-up text from Joe in Wildwood. Says, Knight Rider and Pink Panther were also TV shows that me and my siblings tried to watch when we were younger. I was a big Knight Rider guy. Huge fan of Knight Industries 2000 kit. That was a fun show. The problem for Knight Rider is that it was almost like they ran out of ideas at the end. That final season, when they had that big showdown, I'm not giving any spoilers. I mean, the show is like 40 years old at this point. At the end, when they had that big showdown between, the upgrade kit for like the third time or the fourth time or whatever it was, it felt like after the big showdown between him and the big truck, at the very end, it seemed like that they were just running out of ideas, and they were running out of the ability to keep David Hasselhoff to do the show. But yeah, the Knight Rider was a ton of fun. Pink Panther was really not really for me. I was more of a Knight Rider and A-Team person from that era. But that's just me. Jeff from Mosher says, I'm getting ready to fly out to New Orleans on Friday. I'm getting fired up. Go Birds. That's from Jeff in Ocean City. Yeah, man. I know there's a lot of people who have already made the trip down there already. A lot of people who are Eagle fans are making their way to the Big Easy. I would just say, please be careful. Be safe. There's a lot of weird stuff going on in the world today. So whatever you guys do, just be careful and be safe out there. So, but I appreciate Jeff from Mosher City always chiming in. All right. A little bit of a schedule update. So today on 97.3 ESPN, Sixers and Mavs are at 7. Not 7:30. The game was moved to 7. tomorrow, Sixers versus Heat. That will be 7:30 here on 97.3 ESPN. We'll find out the Sixers make another trip with the Heat tomorrow. No, I'm just kidding. Is that the move now? Hey, you're in our city. Let's make a trade. Let's make it easy for everybody. Thursday, Flyers take on the Caps here on 97.3 ESPN. Sixers versus Pistons on Friday night on 97.3 ESPN. And of course, don't forget, Mike Gill and the Sports Bash team is down at Radio Row in New Orleans. Mike Gill will be live Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday with a plethora of interviews you do not want to miss. Skip it to 97.3 ESPN FM, 97.3 ESPN mobile app powered by First Bank of Seattle, and of course, 97.3 on Twitter, X, and on Instagram. Yes, Turbo Boost. Somebody texted in Turbo Boost. Turbo Boost was like the coolest thing when you were younger. Like, Turbo Boost was like the thing that was like, everybody wanted a car that did Turbo Boost. We've all been in traffic, sitting behind that idiot, stuck behind somebody on the parkway. You want to just go full throttle, go Turbo Booster with somebody. That would be amazing. Yeah, the show got really hokey when Turbo Boost wasn't the coolest thing they could do with the car anymore. They made all the kit upgrades insignificant after like Turbo Boost was the coolest thing in the world. But when they went to like, what was it, that Super Pursuit mode, where basically it was like, you know, he could go like 300 miles an hour. It was like, all right, whatever. Like, they kept upgrading kit again and again and again for the storylines. And it was like, at some point, you were just tired of the upgrades. You know, the car was the star of the show. But I told you guys earlier, if you don't build the character for everybody else, if you don't build the character of everybody else around the car, it didn't matter. I mean, they went through what, like three different technicians for the car over the years? The show was on the air for 4 years and went through 3 different technicians. How are we supposed to care about who any people on the show are? Advice to anybody writing a television show. You have to make us invest in the characters, or we lose interest. Like the 76ers. No, I'm just kidding. Oh, man. Thanks to Austin Krell, Rob Maaddi, Geoff Mosher, and Nick Earnshaw for joining me on today's show. Sports Bash, 97.3 ESPN. By the way, apparently Ticketmaster, you can buy tickets right now for $10, $11 for Sixers games tonight. Somewhere Nick Earnshaw is regretting going to Radio Row. He would love to be in the nosebleeds for a game like tonight. All right, coming up next, Best of the Sports Bash. I'll be back on game night tomorrow at 6 o'clock following Mike Gill on 97.3 ESPN. Have a great everybody.
Super Bowl 59 is on Westwood 1.
The Philadelphia Eagles are headed to New Orleans.
Now the Chiefs are on the doorstep of history.